This is By the Way. Tomorrow, in this Holy Week, Christians will recall the death of Jesus Christ on the cross of Calvary. An ancient prayer of the Christian Church for Good Friday includes a description of Jesus Christ as one who was contented to be betrayed and given up into the hands of wicked men and to suffer death on a cross. The word contented somehow doesn't seem to fit. But the use of that word is very intentional. As paradoxical as it may appear, Jesus was contented in his suffering. He was capable of seeing beyond the cross. He knew his mission. He knew it would eternally affect all those with faith in him. He knew he was doing it for you and me. This is By the Way.
Well, good morning to you. It is 3 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock on this Monday, Thursday, also known as Holy Thursday. Today commemorates the washing of the disciples' feet and the Last Supper of Jesus, in which he instituted Holy Communion to his disciples. Not a public holiday in the United States, but one that's observed pretty widely. Let's see. Let's check in with our weather here this morning, find out what it's going to be like.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny this afternoon, a high temperature of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 44. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high 65. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high 59. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low of 38. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of an afternoon rain shower, high temperature 53. And Sunday night, cloudy, low of 37. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
Thank you, Andrew. And 34 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. Let's see. Today is the 14th day of April, and sunrise will be at 6:31, sunset at 7:39. That gives us a day length today of 13 hours and 8 minutes. Also, on this day in 2006, we had a record high of 92 degrees. Our low high for this day happened in 1980, and that was 35 degrees. In 1950, the record low was 28, and in 2006, on April 14th, the highest low that we ever had was 71 degrees. All right, besides being Monday, Thursday, today is Children with Alopecia Day, Dreams of Reason Feast Day, Ex-Spouse Day, International Moment of Laughter Day, Look Up at the Sky Day, National Dolphin Day, National Pecan Day, Pan American Day, Pathologist's Assistant Day, Reach as High as You Can Day, and Support Teen Literature Day. Greg Jones from East Central College, scheduled to be my guest at 9:10 this morning. At 10:05, we'll have Live from the White Mule Winery. I only have one birthday today, and that's Mike Davis, and not the Davises that owned Fidelity, but the other Davis family, Bob Davis and Robin Carmen's brother, yeah. Robin was in my class, I believe. 6 past 6 o'clock. Oh, Craig and Miranda Ellis, they have an anniversary today. This is their 15th. So happy anniversary to Craig and Miranda. If you have a birthday or an anniversary you'd like to pass along, then just send me a text message if you want to, 573-677-1001. You can email me, news@ktui.com, or you can, let's see, what else? Oh, call me, 468-5101. I'm standing here looking at the telephone. Yeah, 468-5101 is the phone number. 7 minutes past 6 o'clock. Again, it is 34 degrees. Pretty cool for this time of year, I think. But we've got news for you from the USA Radio Network. Stay tuned here to KTUI.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Commercial truckers bringing in produce and other goods from Mexico are protesting a new rule by Texas Governor Greg Abbott requiring additional inspection, resulting in extremely long wait times and the shutdown of at least one border crossing. Governor Abbott has been complaining the federal government is not doing enough to stop the surge of illegal immigration into his state. New York Governor Democrat Kathy Hochul made the announcement Wednesday.
Breaking news, there are reports that the suspect has been arrested.
62-year-old Frank James, wanted in connection to the Brooklyn subway shooting, was arrested in Manhattan's East Village after turning himself in through Crime Stoppers. Officials did not comment on the motive behind the shootings, saying that an investigation into the matter is still ongoing. USA Radio News.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. For your free quote, call 1-800-272-1955. That's 1-800-272-1955. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-272-1955. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Midterm elections are starting to unfold in America. Katie Lewis now takes us to Ohio and the gubernatorial race.
Ohio's Republican governor locked his state down early on in the pandemic, but now Mike DeWine is working to win over more conservative voters as he runs for a second term. DeWine remains the favorite to emerge from a May 3rd primary. Recent polls show DeWine in a comfortable position heading into the primary. From the USA Radio News Midwest Bureau, I'm Katie Lewis.
A woman who was duct taped to her seat aboard an American Airlines plane after she allegedly attacked the crew and tried to open the door mid-flight faces an $81,950 fine, the largest handed out by the FAA. The FAA also proposed a fine of $77,272, the second largest ever, against a woman aboard a Delta flight from Las Vegas to Atlanta on July 16th of last year. We are USA Radio News.
Gunsmoke. Port Laramie. Have gun. Will travel.
Frontier Gentleman.
Luke Slaughter of Tombstone.
The greatest radio shows of all time. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On many of these radio stations or online, just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
As the White House announces another $800 million supply package for Ukraine's fight against invading Russia, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was on ABC News explaining the goals of the Biden administration.
The bottom line is this. There must be accountability. And the United States will work with the international community to make sure there's accountability. In the meantime, though, we're not going to wait for that. We are going to get Ukraine the weapons it needs to beat back the Russians, to stop them from taking more cities and towns where they commit these crimes, and also to squeeze the Russian economy to increase the pressure and the costs on Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin and the Russian government. That's what we're going to do, and we intend to work in lockstep with our allies and partners in support of the Ukrainians as they defend their country.
The 2024 Democrat presidential primaries may look different from previous years after the DNC panel voted Wednesday to give new states the chance to hold early primaries. States like Iowa and New Hampshire often fight bitterly to keep the coveted first-in-the-nation status. The DNC's Rules and Bylaws Committee voted to allow states to apply to hold early primaries and set dates for them to do so. States will need to send a letter of intent by early May. Firefighters in New Mexico continue to fight a wind-driven wildfire that a day earlier had burned at least 150 homes and other structures while displacing thousands of residents in Ruidoso, New Mexico. USA Radio News, I'm Lance Pry.
At Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, we don't just work in the community. we live here too. We understand what it means to raise a family here, and we know the importance of having the highest quality healthcare nearby, with BJC Healthcare doctors, nurses, and specialists to treat all your needs. This is your best medicine, Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, proud to serve the community we call home. The birth of your baby is one of the most special days of your life, and where you choose to deliver is important. Families in our community trust Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital. Our expert physicians, midwife, and compassionate nursing teams will be by your side to guide you on your journey from pregnancy to delivery and beyond. So you'll feel confident as we support and celebrate your family. Your best medicine is close to home at Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital.
Missouri Net News, good morning, I'm Brent Palm. The Missouri Senate is giving initial approval to a proposal that would ask voters to freeze residential property tax assessments for senior citizens. Democratic Senator Stephen Roberts from St. Louis is co-sponsoring the proposed ballot measure.
This is a constitutional amendment that, if passed by the voters, would allow the governing body to implement whatever conditions that they would like. So again, this isn't imposing anything on anyone's area. It just allows that local governing body, whether it be the Board of Aldermen or the City Council, to enact the legislation to freeze property tax rates for seniors.
One more vote of support would send the proposal to the House. A bill in the Missouri House would require voters to show a photo ID at the polls. Representative Chuck Basie added language during the debate that would let voters within a school district decide if transgender athletes born as males can play in female sports. House Democratic leader Crystal Quaid of Springfield says she wishes lawmakers would do better.
We spent so long talking about something that would affect about less than 20 children in our state. The own amendment sponsor mentioned when the lady from Jackson was inquiring, what school districts have you heard from that this is a problem? To which he said none.
The measure will head to the Senate with one more vote of approval. Well, the staff of the fatal Ride the Ducks boat sinking on Table Rock Lake is facing another round of criminal charges.
The state attorney general has refiled charges against a boat captain and 2 other former employees of Ride the Ducks. The charges include involuntary manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child. A circuit judge dismissed the charges earlier this month, citing lack of evidence to support the criminal charges. And Washington Senator Josh Hawley's bill to add safety measures might have a foothold, he says.
We will get it done here, I hope, soon. There need to be common sense safety regulations on these boats.
He filed a bill adding federal regulations to rides like this every year he's been in office, the past 3 years. Ashley Bird, Missouri Net.
And Game 2 of the I-70 series between the Cardinals and Royals rained out Wednesday at Busch Stadium.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
A man from southeast Missouri is jailed in northern Iowa for an alleged shooting there.
Algona police got a 911 call at about 10:30 Saturday morning saying there had been gunfire near a park in Algona and a vehicle left the scene at a high rate of speed. Police found a man had been shot and interviewed witnesses to a fight. Officers with the State Patrol and Iowa DOT pulled a suspect over on Interstate 35 about 75 miles away from Algona. 20-year-old Michael Street of Fredericktown, Missouri, has been charged with attempted murder. A judge has issued an order barring Street from contacting the man who was shot. Radio Iowa, I'm OK Henderson.
A Western Missouri hospital is celebrating having 0 COVID-19 patients for the first time in more than 2 years. KMBC reports staff members at Liberty Hospital marked the milestone by breaking a piñata shaped like a coronavirus. Hospitalizations in Missouri have dropped significantly since the Omicron surge in January and February. This is Missouri Nat.
When it comes to your finances, you need a team you can trust.
someone who can help you through any situation, a local community bank you can depend on. At First State Community Bank, we are that partner. And because we're committed to Sullivan, you won't have to worry about changes to your accounts or locations. Come see me, Jordan Todd, in Sullivan today. My team and I are excited to partner with you. We'll make the process of switching banks quick and easy.
First State Community Bank, member FDIC, online at fscb.com.
So you met the new neighbors?
They love it here.
I heard they're from back east.
I forget sometimes how special this place is.
Special?
The new neighbors. They can't get over our loyalty and patriotism.
What? Some people think you can build a great country by tearing everything down.
They got sick of that back east. That's why they moved here. That's why they love it here.
That's why we love it here.
We're Level 9 Heating and Cooling. Level9HVAC.com.
A 19-year-old is facing multiple felony charges for allegedly striking a pair of Eureka police officers with a stolen car. According to a spokesperson for the Eureka Police Department, Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies and Eureka officers were patrolling the Marisol Manor neighborhood around 5 a.m. Tuesday. They were looking for several suspects in a stolen vehicle who were stealing items from cars. One teen was taken into custody. They were searching for others. Police identified the stolen Jefferson County vehicle, a black Honda Pilot, near the intersection of Highway 109 and 4th Street. The officer walked over to the suspect's vehicle to make an arrest. He was knocked to the ground by the vehicle, which then rammed into the side of another fully marked police vehicle driven by a school resource officer. The Eureka officer struck by the suspect's vehicle was taken to the hospital to have surgery for a broken ankle. The school resource officer was also injured. The Honda Pilot was later found abandoned. 3 teens and 1 adult were eventually taken into custody. Yesterday, the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office charged Ryan Lavelle Adams with first-degree tampering with a motor vehicle, second-degree assault on a special victim, resisting interfering with an arrest for a felony, and resisting arrest, detention, stop by fleeing, creating a substantial risk of injury or death. Adams remains jailed on a $200,000 cash-only bond. A suspected bank robber was arrested in Florissant yesterday afternoon. The robbery happened at the U.S. Bank at 1000 North Lindbergh around 1:15 p.m. According to Florissant police, the suspect had a gun when he entered the bank, told the teller he was robbing them. Florissant officers reported arresting the suspect almost immediately. No injuries were reported. And police in Kirkwood arrested a man yesterday for allegedly enticing girls in Kirkwood. Police said the man was in a dark-colored, possibly blue minivan and attempted to entice 2 girls who were walking Tuesday between 3:45 and 4:45 p.m. near North Geyer Road and Essex Avenue. Both girls refused. The minivan drove off. Police also found the vehicle believed to be connected to the incident. They did not provide the suspect's name, but said more information will be provided once the investigation is complete. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported an accident in Phelps County at 10:43 last night on Highway DD, a mile east of St. James. A pedestrian, 40-year-old Mark A. Perkins of St. James, walked into the path of a 2016 Toyota Yaris driven by 23-year-old Daniel J. Morse Sexton of Rolla and was struck. Perkins had serious injuries and was transported by air ambulance to Columbia Hospital. There was an accident in Franklin County at 2:50 p.m. yesterday on westbound US 50 at Route AT. 85-year-old Arthur L. LeBeau of Villa Ridge was driving a 2000 Buick LeSabre, failed to yield while at a stop sign, traveled into the intersection. The front of a 2017 Honda Civic driven by 29-year-old Paige A. Forbeck of Pacific struck the side of the Buick LeSabre. 85-year-old Art LeBeau of Villa Ridge had serious injuries. He was transported by Union Ambulance to Mercy in St. Louis. There was an accident at 12:15 p.m. yesterday in Crawford County on I-44 at the 203 mile marker westbound. 49-year-old Angelique Y. Blue of St. James was driving a 2015 Ford F-150. Her vehicle began hydroplaning, traveled off the right side of the roadway, and struck a concrete culvert. Angelique Blue had minor injuries. She was transported by North Crawford Ambulance to Phelps Health in Rolla. There was an accident in Phelps County at 11:43 a.m. yesterday on Highway 63, 3 miles north of Rolla. 45-year-old Jeffrey A. Hubbard of West Plains was driving a 2015 Peterbilt lost control of the vehicle. It crossed the center of the roadway and sideswiped a 2007 Chevrolet Cobalt driven by 51-year-old Valen D. Schwegler of Vienna. Schwegler had moderate injuries. He was transported by Phelps Health to Phelps Health Hospital in Rolla. The Sullivan City Council is set to meet in regular session on Tuesday, April 19th at 7 p.m. in the boardroom at City Hall, 210 West Washington in Sullivan. They will go over the monthly bills in the amount of $1,262,175.21. They will then go over the election results from Franklin County and Crawford County. The city clerk will then give the oath of office to the newly elected officials, the Ward 1 Alderman Mark Dalton and Chris Bunk, and Ward 2 Alderman Jason Alexander, and the new Ward 3 Alderman George Randy Counts. 2 ordinances are on the agenda. Bill number 3950 is sponsored by Alderman Bunk. That would annex property located at 1794 Elmont Road, owned by Hayden Locke and Danica Landwehr, members HDRE Homes LLC. The property was reviewed and recommended for acceptance by Planning and Zoning on April 12th and is to be zoned R4, low-density residential. Bill number 3951, also sponsored by Alderman Bunk, would reduce the existing park and trail easement by vacating the portion west of the trail, east of the Cripple Creek subdivision. Planning and Zoning reviewed and recommended approval on April 12th. The property is located off North and South Road and owned by Kenneth Wilson. They do have real estate litigation and personnel scheduled for closed session. The new St. Louis Music Park at the Centene Community Ice Center is gearing up for concert season. The music park is holding a multi-day job fair. They're looking to hire various positions, including guest services, event security, and concessions. Experience helps, but everyone will be considered. The fair runs from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. today, tomorrow, and Saturday. St. Louis Music Park is located at 750 Casino Center Drive in Maryland Heights. The Franklin County Clerk, Tim Baker, wants to remind you that the County Government Center, County Administrative Offices, Historic Courthouse, the Health Department, and the Highway Department will all be closed tomorrow in observance of Good Friday. The Sheriff's Department will remain open as they are 24 hours a day each and every day. And don't forget that next week is the spring citywide cleanup in the city of Sullivan. If you have any questions, contact Swinger Sanitation at 877-407-8261. That is a look at your local news on this Thursday. I'm Sam Scott.
You've heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race. At Edward Jones, we apply that consistent approach to long-term investing. Hi, I'm Donnie Greenwald, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. Investing a little bit at a time on a regular basis is a key to long-term growth. We call this systematic investing. And though it doesn't guarantee a profit or prevent a loss, it is a way to take advantage of market volatility instead of suffering from it. To learn more, call us at 573-468-6046 or visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Psychologists, licensed professional counselors, and licensed clinical social workers, Compass Health Network is looking for you. The need is great in our communities, and we are currently hiring licensed staff to help us care for those that need us most. Compass Health Network offers a supportive environment of over 250 clinicians, excellent training, a competitive salary, and great benefits. Join us as we inspire hope and promote wellness. Visit careers.compasshealthnetwork.org and apply today.
In recent funeral notices, James Edward Schmidt Sr. of Sullivan passed away Sunday at the age of 86. Graveside services will be held at 11 o'clock this morning at the Buffalo Cemetery in Sullivan. Online condolences may be shared with James' family at eatonfuneralhome.com. Mary Ann McPherson of Cuba passed away Monday at the age of 87. A graveside service will be held at 11 o'clock this morning at the Merrimack Hills Cemetery in Cuba. All arrangements under the direction of the Mizell Funeral Home of Cuba. Coulter Low Ridge, stillborn infant of Wyatt and Lillian Low Ridge of Cooper Hill, passed away Saturday. Funeral services will be held at noon today at the Gottenstreeter Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in the Bland Union Cemetery in Bland. Visitation will be from 9 a.m. until noon today at the Gottenstreeter Chapel in Owensville. Michelle M. Shell Annis, née Mercer of Sullivan, passed away Friday, April 8th at the age of 47. Funeral services will be held at 1 o'clock this afternoon at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Interment will follow at the Reedville Cemetery in rural Sullivan. Visitation will be held from 11 o'clock this morning until the time of services at 1 at Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Norma Jean Trendle of Sullivan passed away Tuesday at the age of 74. Funeral services will be held at noon on Friday at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. Interment will follow at Holy Martyrs of Japan Catholic Cemetery. Visitation will be from 5 until 8 p.m. this evening at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. Memorial contributions may be made to Promise Community Homes in the name of Norma Jean Trundle. Larry Bingaman Sr. of Gerald passed away Tuesday at the age of 81. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstruder Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in St. Paul's United Church of Christ Cemetery in Gerald. Visitation will be Friday from 4 until 8 p.m. at the Gottenstruder Chapel in Owensville. Tabitha R. Tabby Dawson, née Kurtner of Cuba, passed away Sunday at the age of 47. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. In keeping with her wishes, Tabby will be cremated following funeral services. Visitation will be held Saturday from noon until the time of services at 1 at Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. The complete funeral announcements with all the survivors will air with our 8 o'clock expanded edition of KTUI News this morning.
Experience the difference. Sullivan Bank is different from other banks. Hello, this is Debbie Durham with Sullivan Bank. The real quality of Sullivan Bank rests in one word: caring. It's not just about banking, it's about the fulfillment of your dreams. At Sullivan Bank, we care enough to listen, to understand that this is about your life, your family. Sullivan Bank is different and as unique as the person who is listening to me right now, you. Stop in and experience the difference.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny this afternoon, a high temperature of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 44. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high 65. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high 59. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low of 38. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of an afternoon rain shower, high temperature 53. And Sunday night, cloudy, low of 37. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
Thank you, Andrew. It is 34 degrees here at the studios of KTUI, 29 past 6 o'clock. And Greg Jones from East Central College will be my guest at 9:10 this morning. And then at 10:05 this morning, we've got live from the White Mule Winery with Charlie Schlottick and his daughter Grace Jett, and whoever their guest is today. Mike Davis has a birthday today, and Craig and Miranda Ellis celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary. Bobby D's got sports for you here on KTUI.
After another rain out at home yesterday, the Cardinals are on the road for the first time this season, traveling to Milwaukee. Here's Tom Ackerman with the Cardinals Radio Network to set the stage for today's game.
Well, good morning, everyone. The Cardinals find themselves in Milwaukee this morning. They take on the Brewers this afternoon. A 4:14 first pitch for Brandon Woodruff. He'll be going up against Adam Wainwright. What a pitching matchup there as the Cardinals get this series started. The Cardinals are 3-1, off to a good start, won 6-5 in their first game against the Royals. But yesterday's game was rained out. There were storms approaching the area, and the Cardinals called it very early. Postpone the game. It'll be made up on Monday, May 2nd at 3:15 at Busch Stadium. They play the Brewers today and this rotation for the series. Wainwright today, Miles Michaelis tomorrow, Steven Matz on Saturday. Sunday, they'll make the decision. It'll either be Dakota Hudson or Jordan Hicks, who looked very good in his debut the other night against the Royals, pitching 2 scoreless innings. The Cardinals and the Brewers this afternoon. Again, a 4:14 first pitch. Look forward to bringing it to you. I'm Tom Ackerman for the Cardinals Radio Network.
Thank you very much, Tom, and we will have that Cardinals game on the air today on 102.1 KTUI FM pregame at 3:15, first pitch at 4:20. The 4-2 win in Boston Tuesday night was the Blues' 6th win in a row, marking their longest win streak of the season and extending their game point streak to 9. During this stretch, the team has scored at least 4 or more goals in every game. With the offense clicking and the defense returning to full strength, the Blues are in Buffalo to try to keep the momentum going. The Blues enter tonight's matchup tied with Minnesota at 96 points for second in the Central Division, though the Wild do have a game in hand to break the tie. We'll join the Blues game in progress after high school baseball night if we get that game in on KTUI 94.1 FM, 1560 AM. If we don't play the high school game tonight, the Blues pregame will start at 5:30. University of Missouri Baseball welcomes Kentucky to Taylor Stadium for a 3-game SEC series beginning tonight at 7. Game 2 of the series set for a 6 p.m. first pitch Friday. Finale is a 1 o'clock start on Saturday afternoon. The top-ranked Central Missouri Mules baseball team begins a 3-game home series with Pittsburgh State tonight at 6. East Central Baseball scheduled to host North Central Missouri College for doubleheaders today and tomorrow, with today's first game at 1 o'clock. Emporia State will be at home for a 3-game series with Washburn starting tonight at 6. Maryville University Baseball hosting McKendree for 4 games starting today at 2. St. Charles Community College defeated the Webster University JV on Tuesday 12-1. Spencer Hunter from Borgia was 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored for St. Charles. The Cougars will be on the road for a 4-game series with Crowder College beginning tonight at 6. University of Missouri softball will face off with number 14 Georgia in a 3-game series starting tonight at 5. Game 2 Friday at noon, and the series finale Saturday evening at 5. Mississippi State softball set to meet another top 5 opponent when the Bulldogs travel to number 2 Alabama starting a 3-game series tonight at 5. Florida International softball on the road to Huntington, West Virginia to play Marshall University for 3 games, with the opener of that series today at 1. And the Central Falcons softball games against Mineral Area today have been canceled. Missouri women's basketball tapping into some in-state talent in the postseason recruitment period, getting its second signee for the 2022 class in West Plains senior Ashton Judd. Judd follows Rockbridge's Avery Cronkey in signing her national letter of intent with Mizzou. Judd, a 6-foot guard, led the Zizzers to a 27-4 record and a Class 5 state championship in her senior campaign, earning Class 5 Player of the Year for this past season. Missouri State's Jasmine Franklin has announced she's entering her name into the transfer portal. The Lady Bears forward made the announcement on social media on Wednesday. Franklin was averaging about 15 points and 12 rebounds a game during this past season before suffering a torn ACL in December. All of the local sporting activities yesterday were canceled due to the weather. Would like to congratulate Washington High School senior Joey Avisha, as he has announced his commitment to play football next year at Central Methodist University. Looking at the schedule of local games for today, and again, this is all weather and field conditions permitting. In high school baseball, Sullivan scheduled to be at St. Clair today at 4:30. And if they get the game in, we'll broadcast on 94.1 FM, 1560 AM and the TuneIn app, with pregame starting at 4:15. Lakeway at Bourbon, New Haven at Herman, Union at Pacific, Vienna at St. James. All 4:30 starts. Owensville at Capital City at 5. Crocker at Steelville at 5. St. James at Owensville for a freshman game at 4:30. Washington at Fort Zumwalt East for a C-team game also at 4:30 today. And again, those are all field conditions permitting. In girls soccer, Sullivan will be at St. James tonight. Smithton at Bell. Washington will be at Fort Zumwalt East for JV and varsity, all those games starting at 5 o'clock. The Rolla Pacific game scheduled for tonight has been postponed. Boys golf on the schedule for today, and again, this is course conditions permitting. Owensville at Herman for a dual meet at Luder Shores at Herman at 4. Pacific at Union for a dual meet at Birch Creek at 4. Warrenton Tournament, Borge and Washington playing there at 9 this morning. And the GVC meet at Cuba today, Bell, Cuba, Steelville, and Viburnum, that gets underway at 9 o'clock this morning. High school track schedule for today, Owensville hosting a relay. Borgia, Bourbon, Fatima, Herman, Salem, Sullivan, some of the local teams running. That'll get underway at 3:30. And Cuba hosting their invitational today with New Haven, St. James, Steelville, and Bell. Some of the local teams running there at 3 o'clock. Sports on the air, we have Cardinals baseball coming up today on the road in Milwaukee against the Brewers. 3:15 pregame, 4:20 first pitch on 102.1 KTUI FM. If they're able to get the games in today, we'll have high school baseball this afternoon. Sullivan at St. Clair, 4:15 pregame, 4:30 first pitch on 94.1 FM, 1560 AM and the TuneIn app. If we get the high school game in, then we'll join the Blues game in Buffalo in progress. If we don't get the high school game in, then we'll have the Blues in its entirety with pregame starting at 5:30 on 94.1 FM and 1560 AM. That is your look at sports on this Thursday. Have a great day, everybody. This is Bobby D.
Seidenstricker Nobe Partners Drive Green, Save Green sales event is here just for the month of April. Choose one of our 1 through 4 series John Deere compact tractor packages and save an extra $500. Choose our 5E tractor and save $1,000 off our already low S&P prices. Drive green, save green with Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land. snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 4/30/2022. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
A quiet Wednesday for direct cash cattle trade, and cash hogs into the day lower. Good morning. I'm Megan Grabner with the Brownfield Livestock Market Report, brought to you by WholeCottonseed.com. Beef up your cattle ration with triple nutrient whole cottonseed. Learn more and source whole cottonseed at WholeCottonseed.com. There was a light to moderate direct cash cattle trade that took place on Wednesday. Deals in the South were at $139 live, fully steady with Tuesday's business and last week's weighted averages. Live deals in Iowa were marked at $143. That's well above last week's business. Dress deals were at $225 to $227, $2 to $4 higher than last week's weighted average basis. At the Hub City Livestock Auction in South Dakota, there was a very light offering, so an accurate comparison was not available. However, there was a higher undertone noted on steers. The USDA says demand was good to very good for the light offering. Flesh varied from light to moderate plus. Light cattle that were green enough for grass were met with very good demand. The market was active, even with limited buyers and sellers on hand. Medium and large on feeder steers, 815 to 831 pounds, brought $160 to $164. Feeder steers, 869 to 895 pounds, brought $142 to $155.85. Medium and large on feeder heifers, 845 to 849 pounds, brought $143. Box beef closed lower on light demand for moderate offerings. Choice down $1.11 at $272.36. Select closed $1.34 lower at $259.37. Estimated cattle slaughter was 126,000 head, up 1,000 on the weekend, up 10,000 on the year. Cash hogs closed lower with a fairly light negotiated run. Demand for U.S. pork on the global market has been strong, and that's helping provide some price support. However, there are long-term concerns creeping in. Processors have been able to move their desired numbers without having to get too aggressive in their procurement efforts. Barrows and Gilts at the National Daily Direct closed $1.88 lower with a weighted average of 97.79. The Iowa Minnesota down $1.85 with a weighted average of 157. The Western Corn Belt down $1.85 with a weighted average of 188. Pork values close higher, up $1.73 at 108.53, and estimated hog slaughter was 478,000 head, up 27,000 on the week and even on the year. At the CME, live and feeder cattle ended the day higher, supported by the week's stronger cash business, and lean hog futures were mostly lower, pressured by long-term demand concerns. I'm Megan Grebner, Brownfield Ag News.
Multiflora rose may look pretty, but it's an invasive weed. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. This prickly shrub spreads rapidly, and it takes extra effort to get rid of it as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
It's planting season. Race against the clock season. Mistakes can't happen season. And no one helps you face it all like John Deere. Putting technology in your hands that gets you in and out of the field faster. That makes your spacing and depth more accurate. And that gives you the confidence that this season will be your best season. See what you have to gain at johndeere.com/gain ground.
Whenever you're online, Living the Country Life is there too. Like us on Facebook and exchange tips and ideas with people who share your love for the country way of life. Follow us on Twitter at Small Farming for timely news and information. You can also find us on Instagram and Pinterest. See the latest inspired shot from our readers or add a garden tip to your boards. Living the Country Life has all the ideas for your home acreage. Visit us online at livingthecountrylife.com and find us on social media.
Multiflora rose is a prickly, vigorous shrub with long stems and thorns. It's native to Japan and was brought to the United States as a rootstock for ornamental roses. But this invasive plant grows aggressively and snuffs out other vegetation. Birds nibbled on its fruit and spread the seeds everywhere. Multiflora rose isn't good nesting habitat either because of its thorns. In fact, it used to be planted around prisons to prevent inmates from escaping. This shrub can grow up to 10 feet tall in pastures, prairies, and woodlands anywhere the land isn't turned over. Iowa State Extension weed specialist Bob Hartzler says you can dig it out or try brush herbicides.
These are used primarily as foliar applications. The best time for them is in the spring after the roses have fully leafed out, but before they bloom. And these basically are the same herbicides that people would use in their lawns to control dandelions and other broadleaf weeds. But because multiflora rose is a woody plant, use higher rates than we would use for dandelions.
Because the stems touch the ground, they will set new roots. Hartzler says attack the plant when it's small.
They are ignored, and so they grow larger. Then it becomes much harder to kill just because of the size. It's very difficult when you go out to try to spray them. It's hard to get good coverage because they can get so large. Acting quickly when you first spot them invading an area is the key to keeping the problem simple to deal with.
One treatment won't do it because seeds can live up to 10 years in the soil. Learn more about fighting multiflora rose at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center, for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny this afternoon, a high temperature of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 44. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high 65. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high 59. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low of 38. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of an afternoon rain shower, high temperature 53. And Sunday night, cloudy, low of 37. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
Thank you, Andrew. It's 17 minutes in front of 7 o'clock, 34 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. It's time to go out across our wide Missouri.
Across our wide Missouri with Bob Pretty. Listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the Show Me State by visiting MissouriNet.com today.
In the spring of 1832, a privately financed expedition left from Fort Osage, Missouri, bound for the Rockies. The trip was partly a major experiment, a test to see if wagons could really be taken over the Continental Divide and onto the West Coast. And they could be. But it had a couple of other purposes. One was fur trapping, and the other was spying. The story in a minute.
Missouri Family Health Council, they champion access for every individual to culturally sensitive, quality sexual and reproductive health education and services. One of those services is Title X, a federal family planning program. Joining us is Kate Wagner, nurse practitioner with Jefferson County Health Department. Explain Title X first.
Title X is a federal program that was started back in the 70s. The program helps to provide family planning services to anyone that seeks it out at one of our clinics. Here in Missouri, we have clinics all over the state. I'm lucky to be a nurse practitioner at one of those clinics in Jefferson County. In 2021, we served nearly 1,000 adults and teens and helped to provide birth control and sexual health screenings, education, and to folks that seek those services.
Benjamin Bonneville graduated from West Point in 1815, not yet 20 years old. He'd been to St. Louis and he had sampled the fur trade talk there, and the fire was lighted brightly when he was serving at Fort Gibson in the Indian Territory, the jumping-off place for southern expeditions into the Rockies. And it was there that the idea began to work for an excursion of his own to the west. He was able to finagle a 2-year leave of absence at the time from the Army and find private financial backing. His official orders were to explore the West and learn all he could of the Northwest and report back to his superior officers. All of this was officially unofficial, however. Officially, he was trapping furs. It was July when he took his 20 wagons across the divide and set up a post on the Green River. Mountain men, most who never found much good about Bonneville, christened the outpost Fort Nonsense, contending it could not be inhabited during the cold winters. But it was more than that. The American fur companies and the British Hudson's Bay Company had been competing strongly in the Oregon Territory for years, although the treaty had been signed with Britain allowing both sides to trade in the area. His letters back to his commanders discussed the problems of a military invasion of Oregon and if one should become necessary. And he once wrote, "If our government ever intended taking possession of Oregon, the sooner it shall be done, the better." And it is here that we suddenly realize that Fort Nonsense was not the product of a military man playing at being a fur trader. It was a strategic post which could cover any expedition moving into Oregon from the United States or block any expedition coming out of Oregon into the American hunting grounds if necessary. In 1833, he sent old Joe Walker on a trip to California, presumably to look for furs. Some think it was at least partly a testing of Spanish sentiments toward the United States and probing British influence in that territory, as well as seeking a southern invasion route of Oregon. The expedition, as a hunting expedition, was a failure, and Bald Head, as the Indians called Bonneville, was keenly disappointed. The disappointment reflected in the book about the Bonneville expedition by the noted author Washington Irving overshadowed the fact that, as Bernard DeVoto says, Joe Walker had performed offhand one of the prodigies of Western history. Also, he had increased the potential that a few years later would be called manifest destiny. While Walker had been gone, Bonneville struck out toward Oregon. He reached Fort Walla Walla, where the British made it clear he wasn't welcome, so he went back to Fort Nonsense. In 1834, after Walker's return, he went out again for Oregon and again was rebuffed. William Getzman says that it would be somewhat difficult to account for those two treks to Oregon, but quite obviously Bonneville was probing British strength and observing their operations in the Northwest, as well as trying to establish contact with the Indians in the area. Bonneville wrapped things up in 1835, came back to Missouri, found out his request for a leave extension had been lost, had to lobby to get it back. President Jackson reinstated him. In later years, he fought the Seminole, Mexican, and Civil Wars. He died in St. Louis in 1878, and he's buried there. Benjamin Bonneville proved wagons could be taken west, and he proved a whole lot more when he headed west on that expedition. Captain Benjamin Bonneville, who was born on this date, the 14th of April, in 1796.
That was Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Pretty. To listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the Show Me State, visit MissouriNet.com.
It was a land full of tall grass, a place perfect to graze cattle and set up a ranch, and that's exactly what many did. But today this place looks much different than the accounts of the first visitors, yet it attracts thousands of people each year. I'll take you there on this edition of the American Countryside.
I'm Tyne Morgan, host of U.S. Farm Report, the only weekend television show that features some of agriculture's biggest names. From custom commentary from John Phipps to the stories of antique iron with Machinery Pete to a list of more than 30 marketing analysts, our weekly program focuses on the topics that matter most to you. We invite you to join us each weekend for U.S. Farm Report, timely, trusted tradition.
Hey y'all, I'm Kelly Clarkson. Every American dreams of creating a better life for his or her family, but in some communities, those dreams face difficult challenges. When we come together to help those in need get the same opportunities as everyone else, we truly are making our country a better place to live for all of us. So look for volunteer opportunities in your community to help others achieve the American dream, all right? This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Terry Houghton leads tours for far-flung adventures in and around the Rio Grande River in Big Bend National Park. At times, the river today will have just enough water in the stream to float a canoe. It was once much larger.
In the 1900s, the river was big enough that there were people that made their living trapping animals. There were other people that made their living by hauling water out of it.
Over a century ago, Terry says the river might have been 100 feet wide in places. Today, it perhaps averages 30 feet wide as it passes through Big Bend. Most of the time, it's just a few feet deep. Terry enjoys sharing about the first Europeans who wrote about what they saw here.
In roughly 1750s, the commander of a Spanish fleet shipwrecked in Galveston and came through this area. He described it as grass as high as a horse's belly, nice cottonwood trees.
And we know that the grass here attracted ranchers.
What used to be in 1890s was the best grassland in Texas, right at the Chisos Basin. Entrada Cattle Company had 30,000 head of cattle there.
Over time, the grassland turned to a high desert landscape. Today, there are still a few cattle and horses in the area, but they are on the Mexican side of the river most of the time.
There's free range in Mexico, so they tend to cross the river and come into the U.S. There's horses that the Mexicans have let roam, and they tend to roam everywhere.
A few of those cattle or an occasional horse wander onto the American side of the river, then go back. not realizing they have crossed an international border. It's a great place to come and experience a river and a landscape that remains beautiful, although it has changed in appearance from those first visitors' accounts. Traveling the countryside, here to Lingua, Texas, I'm Andrew McCray.
Eggs are often at the center of Easter celebrations, whether in meals, decorating, related activities, and more. I'm Amy Simpson with Healthy Living on Brownfield. Sue Coyle is the Director of Integrated Marketing with the American Egg Board.
Eggs are really at the center of all Easter celebrations. With spring comes Easter and just kind of a renewal sense of feeling, and eggs really represent all of that. A lot of celebrations with family and friends to celebrate these holidays, and eggs are at the center of it, from meals to decorating to parties.
She describes some Easter egg related activities.
With little kids, you want to do an Easter egg hunt out in your yard, right? You want to hide the eggs out there. The kids go nuts for it, and have them run around the yard and collect eggs. That is, of course, a really popular tradition. But also, there's some really wonderful and beautiful crafts that are going on. If you go on any Pinterest or Instagram, you'll see them. But people are creating unbelievable tablescapes with eggs. They're emptying out the egg and using them for little planters, for little cut flowers or little succulents. They're putting people's names on the egg as a place card. They're dyeing them and attaching them to grapevine wreaths for their front door.
Visit incredibleegg.org for more information. I'm Amy Simpson with Healthy Living on Brownfield.
The Senate will start Farm Bill hearings this month. I'm Larry Lee with Agribusiness News on Brownfield. The Senate Ag Committee has announced its first field hearing for the 2023 Farm Bill. It'll take place on Friday, April 29th at Michigan State University. Chairperson Debbie Stabenow says the most recent Farm Bill passed with the strongest bipartisan support ever, and she says she expects the same support in this bill. Ranking member Senator John Boozman from Arkansas says crafting a farm bill that can become law is a delicate balance. He says it's critical to hear directly from agricultural stakeholders. Boozman says another field hearing will take place in Arkansas in the coming months. Along with in-person testimony, the Michigan State hearing will also be live streamed. Missouri state climatologist says the state had unusually warm temperatures to end 2021 and a roller coaster of temperatures to start 2022. Pat Gannan says the winter jet stream often split the state, leaving colder temperatures to the north and warmer temperatures to the south. Gannan tells Brownfield Missouri had a wet October, which helped recharge the soil profile, surface water supplies, and it helped grass grow before going dry again from November through January. But he says moisture levels are mostly good now.
February and March have been fairly wet. In fact, statewide, we're seeing some surpluses. Pretty much the month of March, we had anywhere from 4 to 5 inches were fairly common. They were a little bit heavier in southeast and drier in the northwest.
As far as the Missouri planting season, Gannan says farmers need an opportunity to get into the fields.
If anything, I would think producers probably want a little respite from the rain, and because obviously they want to get out in the field and prepare it for planting. We're getting into the middle part of April already. There's already been some planting down in southeastern Missouri, but we got to dry these conditions out first.
Gannan says it'll be nice to have that moisture in the soil before the growing season, but the recent cool and wet period has kept soil temperatures lower longer. A spring blizzard is dumping heavy, wet snow over much of North Dakota. State Farm Bureau President Darrell Lease tells Brownfield that storm moved in from the southwest and is not expected to let up until maybe tonight.
We're hearing reports anywhere from 12 to 20 inches of snow in that area down there. We're already up to, 15 to 20 in areas in central North Dakota, and still snowing and still blowing hard.
Lee says he spent an hour clearing a short path through 30-inch drifts to feed cattle. He says it's calving season, but producers prepared as best they could. Lee says there have been some livestock losses, but since much of North Dakota is still suffering from drought, he's hoping the snow melts and provides some much-needed soil moisture.
Tell you what, it's equally, if not more tough to have to sell that herd if we don't get some moisture. So it is a double-edged sword, but it's going to be a blessing at the end of the day, I hope.
I'm Larry Lee with Agribusiness News on Brownfield.
Made for agriculture, we are NFA.
MFA's April sale gets you ready for the sweet side of spring. Now through April 16, we've got special prices on baby chicks and the feeders, waters, and feed mixes you need to make them grow. And MFA's special prices on boots will help with the soggy side of spring. Mounted and hand sprayers are on sale too. It's all at MFA. Hurry, sale ends April 16.
We are MFA.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Soybeans and hogs are lower, corn is mixed, and cattle are higher. Hello, I'm Will Robinson with the Brownfield Market Update. Soybeans are lower on the day on profit taking, while bean oil is still gaining strength watching the crude oil market. July soybeans down 5 cents at $16.55.5. May soybean oil up $1.43 at $76.86. Corn futures are trading mixed on the day, watching weather in the U.S. and South America. May corn down down 1.5 at $7.74 3/4. Cattle futures are higher on the day, watching cash values and mixed movement for corn futures. Live April cattle up 55 cents at $140.50. May feeders up $1.30 at $162.22. And hogs are lower, watching the cash and cutout markets. June hogs down 70 cents at $117.77. Will Robinson, Brownfield.
Over the past several months, we've seen a significant increase in road rage incidents in our area. Most of these incidents are random, and unfortunately several have ended with gunfire. If you encounter an aggressive driver, do not engage in a verbal altercation with them. Slow down, let them pass by, or take an exit and put some time and distance between you and the aggressive driver. When it's safe to do so, dial 911 or star 55 and report the incident to authorities. Allow law enforcement to handle the situation. You can't control the actions of others, but you can control how you react. This is a public service announcement from the Missouri State Highway Patrol and the St. Louis Area Police Chiefs Association.
I've said it provocatively this way before. It's as though we're trying to raise Pharisees.
This is Focus on the Family Minute, and here's Pastor Bill Smith describing the kind of attitudes you don't want your children to develop.
And we think that the best child that we could possibly have would be one that just looks perfect on the outside, and we really don't care what's going on the inside.
Wow, that is good.
And as you go through the Gospels, you realize that the Pharisees were the epitome of good kids. People who had everything down the right way. You wanted your kids to marry them. They were the future leaders of the community. And they stood in front of Jesus and did not recognize the one who created them.
Yeah.
And they accused him of being a tool for Satan. And you think, wow, okay, that's not what I want when I'm helping my kids grow into moral human beings.
Training your children to love God is more important than teaching them good behavioral skills. Learn more from Pastor Bill Smith at FamilyMinute.org.
All right, and it is 34 degrees here on this Monday, Thursday. We're coming up on the 7 o'clock hour. Mike Davis has a birthday today. Craig and Miranda Ellis celebrating 15 years today. And Greg Jones from East Central College will be my guest at 9:10. We are AM 1560, KTUI Sullivan 94.1 FM. You can pick us up on YouTube and tune in. News at 7 o'clock is brought to you by the folks at Sullivan Bank. Here's news from USA.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
We do have some breaking news this hour. Billionaire Elon Musk has offered to buy Twitter for about $41 billion. Musk's offer price of $54.20 per share, which was disclosed in a regulatory filing on Thursday, represents a 38% premium to Twitter's April 1st close. Twitter shares jumped 12% in pre-market trading on the news. Another bus of illegal immigrants have been dropped off in Washington, D.C. overnight from Texas.
These are all migrants who have been processed by CBP and are free to travel, so it's nice the state of Texas is helping them get to their final destination as they await their outcome of their immigration proceedings.
Texas rancher Brent Smith on Fox News.
The buses, might be a good tool for immediate purposes for a week or two, but to actually secure the border, we're going to have to, bring it on the ground at the river.
USA Radio News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
The South African government has declared a state of disaster in the South African areas surrounding the city of Durban. Officials say they are stretched thin and have limited resources. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa via a translator on France 24 News.
We are going to visit other places to assess the flood damage so that we understand the help that is needed. We are thankful you have given us the opportunity to see for ourselves and meet with you.
The president directly blamed climate change for the flooding. Frank James, the man arrested on suspicion of shooting 10 people on a train headed to a Brooklyn subway station Tuesday morning, will make his initial court appearance later today. James was charged in federal court for violating a law that prohibits terrorists and other violent attacks against a mass transportation system. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Thank you for listening. We are USA Radio News.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, and I want to tell you that arthritis is not a genetic thing. It's not a disease of aging. Neither is osteoporosis. Get a hold of my book. It's all in your head. It goes into the 25 different diseases you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. These are all reversible. You take the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, the MSM, vitamin D3, stay away from all the bad foods, including gluten, and guess what? You'll regrow all your bones, including your skull and your legs and your hips and everything else. Contact us at usaradiohealth.com. That's usaradiohealth.com.
Russia announced Wednesday that it had imposed retaliatory sanctions on U.S. members of Congress in response to similar sanctions levied against more than 300 Russian officials last month. Russia's foreign minister said in a release that it was imposing mirror sanctions against 398 members of the U.S. House of Representatives. Congressman Dean Phillips, the Democrat from Minnesota, said it best. Today, 120 years later, I was sanctioned by Russia for opposing the very genocide, authoritarianism, and tyranny I promised my great-grandparents I would fight. End quote. Dr. Mehmet Oz, endorsed by President Trump, called it a potential tipping point in his Pennsylvania Senate race.
Announcement which he wrote himself, by the way, said I was smart, tough, and will never let us down. And he felt that way about me because my whole life, as you know, has been played on the stage of national television, where I've gone to war and fought for my viewers when it came to big tech or big pharma or big agrochemical companies. I went to war with the U.S. government as well. And President Trump wanted someone who could speak to these cultural issues, push back against democratic wokeism, and would be brave enough to do it over and over again. He did not find Dave McCormick able to do that. And that's the even more important reason for many voters, that they're going to say, all right, well, the president did the homework for us. We sort of thought it anyway, as based on what polls were demonstrating. So we're going to go with the president's recommendation, which is Dr. Oz.
Thanks for listening. It's well appreciated. My name is Lance Pry, and we are USA Radio News.
At Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, we don't just work in the community. We live here, too. We understand what it means to raise a family here, and we know the importance of having the highest quality healthcare nearby, with BJC Healthcare doctors, nurses, and specialists to treat all your needs. This is your best medicine. Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, proud to serve the community we call home. For compassionate cancer care close to home, our neighbors turn to Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital. they can receive preventative screenings, see their doctor, and get most treatments and infusions without having to leave the comfort of our community. As part of BJC Healthcare, we bring the latest cancer treatments to you, right here, for the highest quality care. Your best medicine is close to home at Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital.
We all play a role in work zone safety. Stay alert, slow down, and move over. This message brought to you by the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety, working towards zero highway fatalities. Show me zero.
Missouri Net News, good morning, I'm Brent Palm. The staff of the fatal Ride the Ducks boat sinking on Table Rock Lake facing another round of criminal charges.
The state attorney general has refiled charges against a boat captain and 2 other former employees of Ride the Ducks. The charges include involuntary manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child. A circuit judge dismissed the charges earlier this month, citing lack of evidence to support the criminal charges. And Washington Senator Josh Hawley's bill to add safety measures might have a foothold, he says.
The delay has been unconscionable, frankly, but at least we will get it done here, I hope, soon. There need to be common sense safety regulations on these boats.
He filed a bill adding federal regulations to rides like this. Every year he's been in office. Ashley Bird, Missouri Net.
After several hours of debate, the Missouri House is giving initial approval to a bill that would require voters to show a photo ID at the polls. Representative Chuck Basie successfully added language that would let voters within a school district decide if transgender athletes born as males can play in female sports. House Democratic leader Crystal Quaid of Springfield says she wishes lawmakers would do better.
We spent so long talking about something that would affect about less than 20 children in our state. The own amendment sponsor mentioned when the lady from Jackson was inquiring, what school districts have you heard from that this is a problem? To which he said none.
The measure will head to the Senate with one more vote of approval. Republicans in the Missouri Senate are moving forward with a plan to reverse the voter-approved expansion of Medicaid. A Senate committee approved a proposed ballot measure asking voters to overturn their 2020 decision to expand the government health insurance program for low-income Missourians. And Game 2 of the I-70 series between the Cardinals and Royals was rained out Wednesday.
Picture your town in spring. Trees with white flowers bloom, but trouble grows fast and thorny. Calorie pear trees have cross-pollinated into a nightmare. Weak wood topples near homes and power lines. Also known as Bradford pear or Cleveland Select, they quickly overtake fields and parks, displacing native plants and animals. Pull, cut, spray to stop the invasion in your outdoor zone. Buy native trees. Join the fight with MissouriConservation.org.
Sexual and reproductive health care doesn't have to be complicated.
You can take control of your sexual health
with birth control and sexual health screenings,
quality STD testing and treatment,
and family planning services.
Missouri Family Health Council providers are all over the state.
Affordable and confidential sexual and reproductive health care is here for you.
Health care for everybody.
Find a provider today. Visit Missouri Family Health Council at mfhc.org.
Congressman Sam Graves says the Biden administration needs to encourage domestic oil production in the wake of countries canceling contracts for Russian oil. The Missouri Republican claims the president's bowing to pressure from Democrats who oppose drilling in the U.S.
But this idea that we're going to force people to have to pay more money at the pump so that they go buy an electric car or they should just quit driving altogether, that is very bad policy, and that's exactly what's taking place with the progressives.
President Biden announced Tuesday that the EPA will allow year-round sales of 15% ethanol, and gas prices have been dropping in the last week. Authorities in western Missouri's Clinton County are investigating the discovery of human remains. Sheriff's deputies say they were found on a farm near Gower Sunday. A forensic lab's working to identify the bones and determine a cause of death. And the Amber Alert is canceled for a 1-year-old child abducted in Ferguson last night. The State Highway Patrol says Jelena Gilliam was located safely Wednesday night and the suspect is in custody. This is Missouri Net.
Experience the difference. Sullivan Bank is different from other banks. Hello, this is Debbie Durham with Sullivan Bank. The real quality of Sullivan Bank rests in one word: caring. It's not just about banking, it's about the fulfillment of your dreams. At Sullivan Bank, we care enough to listen, to understand that this is about your life, your family. Sullivan Bank is different and as unique as the person who is listening to me right now, you. Stop in and experience the difference.
You've heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race. At Edward Jones, we apply that consistent approach to long-term investing. Hi, I'm Donnie Greenwald, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. Investing a little bit at a time on a regular basis is a key to long-term growth. We call this systematic investing. And though it doesn't guarantee a profit or prevent a loss, it is a way to take advantage of market volatility instead of suffering from it. To learn more, call us at 573-468-6046 or visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
A 19-year-old is facing multiple felony charges for allegedly striking a pair of Eureka police officers with a stolen car. According to a spokesperson for the Eureka Police Department, Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies and Eureka officers were patrolling the Marisol Manor neighborhood around 5 a.m. Tuesday. They were looking for several suspects in a stolen vehicle who were stealing items from cars. One teen was taken into custody. They were searching for others. Police identified the stolen Jefferson County vehicle, a black Honda Pilot, near the intersection of Highway 109 and 4th Street. The officer walked over to the suspect's vehicle to make an arrest. He was knocked to the ground by the vehicle, which then rammed into the side of another fully marked police vehicle driven by a school resource officer. The Eureka officer struck by the suspect's vehicle was taken to the hospital to have surgery for a broken ankle. The school resource officer was also injured. The Honda Pilot was later found abandoned. 3 teens and 1 adult were eventually taken into custody. Yesterday, the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office charged Ryan Lavelle Adams with first-degree tampering with a motor vehicle, second-degree assault on a special victim, resisting interfering with an arrest for a felony, and resisting arrest, detention, stop by fleeing, creating a substantial risk of injury or death. Adams remains jailed on a $200,000 cash-only bond. A suspected bank robber was arrested in Florissant yesterday afternoon. The robbery happened at the U.S. Bank at 1000 North Lindbergh around 1:15 p.m. According to Florissant police, the suspect had a gun when he entered the bank, told the teller he was robbing them. Florissant officers reported arresting the suspect almost immediately. No injuries were reported. And police in Kirkwood arrested a man yesterday for allegedly enticing girls in Kirkwood. Police said the man was in a dark-colored, possibly blue minivan and attempted to entice 2 girls who were walking Tuesday between 3:45 and 4:45 p.m. near North Geyer Road and Essex Avenue. Both girls refused. The minivan drove off. Police also found the vehicle believed to be connected to the incident. They did not provide the suspect's name, but said more information will be provided once the investigation is complete. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported an accident in Phelps County at 10:43 last night on Highway DD, a mile east of St. James. A pedestrian, 40-year-old Mark A. Perkins of St. James, walked into the path of a 2016 Toyota Yaris driven by 23-year-old Daniel J. Morse Sexton of Rolla and was struck. Perkins had serious injuries and was transported by air ambulance to Columbia Hospital. There was an accident in Franklin County at 2:50 p.m. yesterday on westbound US 50 at Route AT. 85-year-old Arthur L. LeBeau of Villa Ridge was driving a 2000 Buick LeSabre, failed to yield while at a stop sign, traveled into the intersection. The front of a 2017 Honda Civic driven by 29-year-old Paige A. Forbeck of Pacific struck the side of the Buick LeSabre. 85-year-old Art LeBeau of Villa Ridge had serious injuries. He was transported by Union Ambulance to Mercy in St. Louis. There was an accident at 12:15 p.m. yesterday in Crawford County on I-44 at the 203 mile marker westbound. 49-year-old Angelique Y. Blue of St. James was driving a 2015 Ford F-150. Her vehicle began hydroplaning, traveled off the right side of the roadway, and struck a concrete culvert. Angelique Blue had minor injuries. She was transported by North Crawford Ambulance to Phelps Health in Rolla. There was an accident in Phelps County at 11:43 a.m. yesterday on Highway 63, 3 miles north of Rolla. 45-year-old Jeffrey A. Hubbard of West Plains was driving a 2015 Peterbilt, lost control of the vehicle. It crossed the center of the roadway and sideswiped a 2007 Chevrolet Cobalt driven by 51-year-old Valen D. Schwegler of Vienna. Schwegler had moderate injuries. He was transported by Phelps Health to Phelps Health Hospital in Rolla. The Sullivan City Council is set to meet in regular session on Tuesday, April 19th at 7 p.m. in the boardroom at City Hall, 210 West Washington in Sullivan. They will go over the monthly bills in the amount of $1,262,175.21. They will then go over the election results from Franklin County and Crawford County. The city clerk will then give the oath of office to the newly elected officials, the Ward 1 Alderman Mark Dalton and Chris Bunk, and Ward 2 Alderman Jason Alexander, and the new Ward 3 Alderman George Randy Counts. 2 ordinances are on the agenda. Bill number 3950 is sponsored by Alderman Bunk, and that would annex property located at 1794 Elmont Road, owned by Hayden Locke and Danica Landwehr, members HDRE Homes LLC. The property was reviewed and recommended for acceptance by Planning and Zoning on April 12th and is to be zoned R4, low-density residential. Bill number 3951, also sponsored by Alderman Bunk, would reduce the existing park and trail easement by vacating the portion west of the trail, east of the Cripple Creek subdivision. Planning and Zoning reviewed and recommended approval on April 12th. The property is located off North and South Road and owned by Kenneth Wilson. They do have real estate litigation and personnel scheduled for closed session. The new St. Louis Music Park at the Centene Community Ice Center is gearing up for concert season. The music park is holding a multi-day job fair. They're looking to hire various positions, including guest services, event security, and concessions. Experience helps, but everyone will be considered. The fair runs from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. today, tomorrow, and Saturday. St. Louis Music Park is located at 750 Casino Center Drive in Maryland Heights. The Franklin County Clerk, Tim Baker, wants to remind you that the County Government Center, County Administrative Offices, Historic Courthouse, the Health Department, and the Highway Department will all be closed tomorrow in observance of Good Friday. The Sheriff's Department will remain open as they are 24 hours a day each and every day. And don't forget that next week is the spring citywide cleanup in the city of Sullivan. If you have any questions, contact Swinger Sanitation at 877-407-8261. That is a look at your local news on this Thursday. I'm Sam Scott.
So you met the new neighbors?
They love it here.
I heard they're from back east.
I forget sometimes how special this place is.
Special?
The new neighbors. They can't get over our loyalty and patriotism.
What? Some people think you can build a great country by tearing everything down.
They got sick of that back east. That's why they moved here. That's why they love it here.
That's why we love it here.
We're Level 9 Heating and Cooling. Level9HVAC.com.
Seidenstricker Nobe Partners Drive Green, Save Green sales event is here just for the month of April. Choose one of our 1 through 4 series John Deere compact tractor packages and save an extra $500. Choose our 5E tractor and save $1,000 off our already low S&P prices. Drive green, save green with Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land. snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 4/30/2022. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
In recent funeral notices, James Edward Schmidt Sr. of Sullivan passed away Sunday at the age of 86. Graveside services will be held at 11 o'clock this morning at the Buffalo Cemetery in Sullivan. Online condolences may be shared with James' family at EatonFuneralHome.com. Marianne McPherson of Cuba passed away Monday at the age of 87. A graveside service will be held at 11 o'clock this morning at the Merrimack Hills Cemetery in Cuba. All arrangements under the direction of the Mizell Funeral Home of Cuba. Coulter Lowridge, stillborn infant of Wyatt and Lillian Lowridge of Cooper Hill, passed away Saturday. Funeral services will be held at noon today at the Gottenstreeter Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in the Bland Union Cemetery in Bland. Visitation will be from 9 a.m. until noon today at the Gottenstreeter Chapel in Owensville. Michelle M. Shell Annis, née Mercer of Sullivan, passed away Friday, April 8th at the age of 47. Funeral services will be held at 1 o'clock this afternoon at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Interment will follow at the Reedville Cemetery in rural Sullivan. Visitation will be held from 11 o'clock this morning until the time of services at 1 at Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Norma Jean Trendle of Sullivan passed away Tuesday at the age of 74. Funeral services will be held at noon on Friday at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. Interment will follow at Holy Martyrs of Japan Catholic Cemetery. Visitation will be from 5 until 8 p.m. this evening at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. Memorial contributions may be made to Promise Community Homes in the name of Norma Jean Trundle. Larry Bingaman Sr. of Gerald passed away Tuesday at the age of 81. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstruder Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in St. Paul's United Church of Christ Cemetery in Gerald. Visitation will be Friday from 4 until 8 p.m. at the Gottenstruder Chapel in Owensville. Tabitha R. Tabby Dawson, née Kurtner of Cuba, passed away Sunday at the age of 47. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. In keeping with her wishes, Tabby will be cremated following funeral services. Visitation will be held Saturday from noon until the time of services at 1 at Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. The complete funeral announcements with all the survivors will air with our 8 o'clock expanded edition of KTUI News this morning.
As a trauma-informed provider, Compass Health Network is equipped to assist you or a loved one struggling with trauma, anxiety, depression, substance use disorder, or other behavioral health conditions. Our providers understand that everyone's life experiences are different and will work with you in person or virtually to develop the most effective plan of care. You are not alone. Call Compass Health Network today at 844-853-8937 or visit compasshealthnetwork.org for more information.
Hi, this is Ryan Juergens, loan officer at First State Community Bank in Sullivan. Are you wanting a home with acreage, a hobby farm, or simply looking for a short-term loan? At First State Community Bank, we're offering a new 7-year adjustable rate mortgage program. Check out our 7-1 and 7-3 options, available to those with a 680 credit score or higher. Stop by to see our team today about the possibility of getting started.
First State Community Bank, member FDIC, online at fscb.com.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny this afternoon, a high temperature of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 44. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high 65. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high 59. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low of 38. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of an afternoon rain shower, high temperature 53. And Sunday night, cloudy, a low of 37. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
All right, thank you, Andrew. It's 36 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. We're up a little bit. It's 23 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. And Bobby D's got some sports here for you on KTUI. Stay tuned.
After another rain out at home yesterday, the Cardinals are on the road for the first time this season, traveling to Milwaukee. Here's Tom Ackerman with the Cardinals Radio Network to set the stage for today's game.
Well, good morning, everyone. The Cardinals find themselves in Milwaukee this morning. They take on the Brewers this afternoon. A 4:14 first pitch for Brandon Woodruff. He'll be going up against Adam Wainwright. What a pitching matchup there as the Cardinals get this series started. The Cardinals are 3-1, off to a good start, won 6-5 in their first game against the Royals. But yesterday's game was rained out. There were storms approaching the area, and the Cardinals called it very early, postponed the game. It'll be made up on Monday, May 2nd at 3:15 at Busch Stadium. They play the Brewers today and this rotation for the series. Wainwright today, Miles Michaelis tomorrow, Steven Matz on Saturday. Sunday, they'll make the decision. It'll either be Dakota Hudson or Jordan Hicks, who looked very good in his debut the other night against the Royals, pitching 2 scoreless innings. The Cardinals and the Brewers this afternoon. Again, a 4:14 first pitch. Look forward to bringing it to you. I'm Tom Ackerman for the Cardinals Radio Network.
Thank you very much, Tom, and we will have that Cardinals game on the air today on 102.1 KTUI FM pregame at 3:15, first pitch at 4:20. The 4-2 win in Boston Tuesday night was the Blues' 6th win in a row, marking their longest win streak of the season and extending their game point streak to 9. During this stretch, the team has scored at least 4 or more goals in every game. With the offense clicking and the defense returning to full strength, the Blues are in Buffalo to try to keep the momentum going. The Blues enter tonight's matchup tied with Minnesota at 96 points for second in the Central Division, though the Wild do have a game in hand to break the tie. We'll join the Blues game in progress after high school baseball night if we get that game in on KTUI 94.1 FM, 1560 AM. If we don't play the high school game tonight, the Blues pregame will start at 5:30. University of Missouri baseball welcomes Kentucky to Taylor Stadium for a 3-game SEC series beginning tonight at 7. Game 2 of the series set for a 6 p.m. first pitch Friday. Finale is a 1 o'clock start on Saturday afternoon. The top-ranked Central Missouri Mules baseball team begins a 3-game home series with Pittsburgh State tonight at 6. East Central baseball scheduled to host North Central Missouri College for doubleheaders today and tomorrow, with today's first game at 1 o'clock. Emporia State will be at home for a 3-game series with Washburn starting tonight at 6. Maryville University baseball hosting McKendree for 4 games starting today at 2. St. Charles Community College defeated the Webster University JV on Tuesday 12-1. Spencer Hunter from Borgia was 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored for St. Charles. The Cougars will be on the road for a 4-game series with Crowder College beginning tonight at 6. University of Missouri softball will face off with number 14 Georgia in a 3-game series starting tonight at 5. Game 2 Friday at noon, and the series finale Saturday evening at 5. Mississippi State softball set to meet another top 5 opponent when the Bulldogs travel to number 2 Alabama starting a 3-game series tonight at 5. Florida International softball on the road to Huntington, West Virginia to play Marshall University for 3 games, with the opener of that series today at 1. And the Central Falcon softball games against Mineral Area today have been canceled. Missouri women's basketball tapping into some in-state talent in the postseason recruitment period, getting its second signee for the 2022 class in West Plains senior Ashton Judd. Judd follows Rockbridge's Avery Cronkey in signing her national letter of intent with Mizzou. Judd, a 6-foot guard, led the Zizzers to a 27-4 record and a Class 5 state championship in her senior campaign, earning Class 5 Player of the Year for this past season. Missouri State's Jasmine Franklin has announced she's entering her name into the transfer portal. The Lady Bears forward made the announcement on social media on Wednesday. Franklin was averaging about 15 points and 12 rebounds a game during this past season before suffering a torn ACL in December. All of the local sporting activities yesterday were canceled due to the weather. Would like to congratulate Washington High School senior Joey Avisha, as he has announced his commitment to play football next year at Central Methodist University. Looking at the schedule of local games for today, and again, this is all weather and field conditions permitting. In high school baseball, Sullivan scheduled to be at St. Clair today at 4:30. And if they get the game in, we'll broadcast on 94.1 FM, 1560 AM and the TuneIn app, with pregame starting at 4:15. Lakeway at Bourbon, New Haven at Herman, Union at Pacific, Vienna at St. James. All 4:30 starts. Owensville at Capital City at 5. Crocker at Steelville at 5. St. James at Owensville for a freshman game at 4:30. Washington at Fort Zumwalt East for a C-team game also at 4:30 today. And again, those are all field conditions permitting. In girls soccer, Sullivan will be at St. James tonight. Smithton at Bell. Washington will be at Fort Zumwalt East for JV and varsity, all those games starting at 5 o'clock. The Rolla Pacific game scheduled for tonight has been postponed. Boys golf on the schedule for today, and again, this is course conditions permitting. Owensville at Herman for a dual meet at Luder Shores at Herman at 4. Pacific at Union for a dual meet at Birch Creek at 4. Warrenton Tournament, Borgia and Washington playing there at 9 this morning. And the GVC meet at Cuba today, Bell, Cuba, Steelville, and Viburnum. That gets underway at 9 o'clock this morning. High school track schedule for today, Owensville hosting a relay. Borgia, Bourbon, Fatima, Herman, Salem, Sullivan, some of the local teams running. That'll get underway at 3:30. And Cuba hosting their invitational today with New Haven, St. James, Steelville, and Bell. Some of the local teams running there at 3 o'clock. Sports on the air. We have Cardinals baseball coming up today on the road in Milwaukee against the Brewers. 3:15 pregame, 4:20 first pitch on 102.1 KTUI FM. If they're able to get the games in today, we'll have high school baseball this afternoon. Sullivan at St. Clair, 4:15 pregame, 4:30 first pitch on 94.1 FM, 1560 AM and the TuneIn app. If we get the high school game in, then we'll join the Blues game in Buffalo in progress. If we don't get the high school game in, then we'll have the Blues in its entirety with pregame starting at 5:30 on 94.1 FM and 1560 AM. That is your look at sports on this Thursday. Have a great day, everybody. This is Bobby D.
Aren't just robots talking. They're voiced.
Hi, this is Nick from Schmidt Auto Center in Sullivan. We all know that this is a strange time for products and services in America and around the world. For us, the interruption in supply lines for new vehicles have driven up the prices of pre-owned vehicles up dramatically. This is not what Schmidt Auto Center wants for our customers, and I do my very best to find quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at the lowest prices we can manage. If you don't see what you're looking for on our lot, contact me and I will find it for you. You can reach me at 573-468-2233, or you can look at our inventory online at schmidtautocenter.com.
Thursday. All right. Good morning to you. It is 7:30. I'm Sam Scott. Glad to have you here with me. Mike Bittner's along. Good morning, Michael. Oh, well, I didn't really want you to talk.
Yeah, I didn't think you did.
I just wanted you to, be here.
No, I'm here. People would rather I not talk too, but that's,
Anyway, let's see. It's Thursday. It's April 14th, Maundy Thursday.
Maundy, yep.
Or Holy Thursday, as people, some people call it, I guess. Maundy Thursday commemorates, Jesus washing the disciples' feet, and the Last Supper, and the establishment of what most people call communion.
Yes.
Let's see.
You liked my joke, huh?
That Mother Nature's bipolar.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know it was a joke. You're the one that picked that up.
North Pole and South Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's running them both at the same time.
Sure.
This weather is ridiculous.
Let's see. Tomorrow.
Yes.
In Bourbon, at the Bourbon Community Center.
Yep.
This is sponsored by the Bourbon Ministerial Alliance, and they're going to have a free supper from 5 to 6 p.m. Spaghetti with meat and without meat.
This is Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it is still Lent.
Bread,
officially.
Drink, and dessert. Dramatic worship at 6 p.m. That's all at the Bourbon Community Center, and you're invited to their Good Friday service.
It's a good thing to do.
Yeah. I guess it still is Lent, but I found out something this year that I
never knew.
Well, I guess I didn't fact check it.
Oh, okay.
But I was told that Sunday is not part of Lent. Sunday is in the Lenten season, but it is actually not considered to be Lent.
Lent actually, I was always the impression that Lent actually ended on Saturday, and Sunday was.
No. I mean any Sunday during Lent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that either.
No, I'd never heard that before.
No, I was not aware of that.
When I heard it, I thought, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So
with our smart listeners out there, someone knows.
I don't know. Well, I'm sure there probably is.
Today
is Children with Alopecia Day.
I'm sorry?
Children with Alopecia.
I've never heard that. Never heard of it.
Well, remember Will Smith got up and smacked Chris Rock the other day because
he's talking about his wife.
Talking about Will Smith's wife.
Right.
Will Smith's wife has alopecia. That's why she shaves her head. Because,
oh, okay.
Because she has problems with hair loss. You've seen people that have like spots in their.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Alopecia.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Let's see. Dreams of Reason Feast Day.
Dreams of Reason Feast.
Yes.
I'm sure dreams are for a reason, I would think. But
so I know this will excite you. Today is Ex-Spouse Day.
Oh, yeah. yeah. A whole bunch of people got those.
I don't have one, although my wife probably wishes I had one. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. International Moment of Laughter Day.
I like that.
Look up at the sky day.
I do that all the time. I don't know why. I don't know what I expect to see.
The sun. It is out today.
Yeah, that big orange ball.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that. But look up at the sky, not at the sun. This is National Dolphin Day. Don't see a lot of dolphins here.
No, when I was
Merrimack.
I was on the Iwo Jima, the USS Iwo Jima.
Yes.
Troop transport. Actually, that's the old one though. That was actually an old. It's gone. Okay. It was actually an old converted tanker.
Okay.
Nasty smelling thing. But we were up. They let us go on the fantail and have a cigarette. So even if you didn't smoke, you went up to have a cigarette off the fantail so you could get some fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a school of dolphins following the ship. It was neat. I'd never seen nothing like it before.
But you were just getting a ride. You weren't.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we did stay out of their way.
Yeah.
Or we'd be overboard.
Right. You were the Marine.
Yeah, we weren't even the guard.
Were they just giving you a ride?
They were just giving us a ride, yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. National Pecan Day. I love pecans.
Yeah, I do too. Anyway.
I love pecan pie.
I'm not a pecan pie guy, but I like pecans and everything else.
Pecan.
Everything, yeah.
You know, I really like carrot cake and pecan pie.
Yeah, yeah. What's spice cake?
No, well, spice cake's okay. I just don't like it when you order. Well, you order carrot cake and they bring you spice cake. And
they
you
do it all the time.
Yeah. Now you go, this is spice cake, and it's like that's what you ordered. No, I ordered your carrot cake, and you brought me spice cake.
Yeah.
Which, I like spice cake, just not as much as carrot cake.
Yeah, there you go.
And if I order carrot cake, by golly, that's what I want.
What you need to do is order spice cake from now on and see if they bring you carrot cake.
No. This is Pan American Day.
Pathologist, Pan American. That's close.
No, it's just Pan American Day.
Pan American Day.
Pathologist Assistant Day. Reach as high as you can Day.
That's not very high for me. I can reach 6'6" if I'm on a 6-foot ladder.
All right, there you go. Let's see. Support Teen Literature Day.
Yep. Well, I support anybody Literature Day.
Okay, there's the things that you can celebrate today.
Can we go back and yes, can we go back and celebrate Peach Cobbler Day again?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Patty Jo.
She said, I know it.
She said she should.
Yeah, she didn't say she would. She said she should.
Yeah, Peach Cobbler.
And then you told her that we'd be happy to
be honored.
Oh, yeah, be honored.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you. I said, yes, we would.
Yes, to try her. Let's see. So the president.
Know him?
Yeah, well.
Of him.
Joe Biden accused Russia of genocide.
Yeah, I heard that.
And he said, quote, I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out even the idea of being Ukrainian, unquote. Biden told reporters on Tuesday on a trip to Iowa. He added that it would be up to international lawyers to decide whether what was happening in Ukraine qualified as genocide, quote, but it sure seems that way to me, unquote. Yeah, that was on NBC News. Eric Erickson says Biden now says there is genocide and he won't do anything about it. So,
yeah. What did you say it was in Iowa?
He went to Iowa.
Is it like heaven? Is heaven in Iowa?
I don't know.
The guy I said Field of Dreams. He says, is this heaven? He says, no, this is Iowa.
Iowa, yeah.
Just asking. I thought maybe you might.
So I'm not anti-Iowa because that's where my grandfather was born, and
I've had people from there.
But he, his family had the good sense to move here to.
Yeah, they're cold.
Captain James T. Kirk was born in Iowa.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. The original Captain James T. Kirk.
Yeah. Let's see. I was trying to remember. I think my grandfather's family came from. I want to say it was North Liberty, Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah.
I've been in Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Yeah. For the people who can't say Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Des Moines, yeah, because either way you look at it, it's all the same place.
Yeah. I think it was the first time I'd ever been into Iowa. At least it was the first time I'd ever driven into Iowa, and we went to. I think it had been an A&W, but it wasn't anymore. But it still had the the stalls.
Yeah.
And so we pulled in there, and I ordered and mind you, this was like in the I don't know, probably around 90.
Okay.
Something like that.
Ancient days.
89, 90, something like that, yeah. Anyway, I pulled in there and I ordered a grape knee-high in Ottumwa, Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
said, for radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, the girl on the speaker, she goes, excuse me? I go, grape knee-high. And she goes, I don't know what that is. And I said, isn't this where radar's from? And she goes, who?
Yeah.
I go, Walter O'Reilly, Radar O'Reilly. And she goes, that guy from MASH?
Yeah.
I go, yeah. And she goes, we don't have grape knee-high.
She's probably thinking, smart, like, get out of here.
I'm sure that's what she was thinking, yeah.
I would think that they would have it.
I would have.
Why? That used to be owned by R.C. Colin. I don't know if it still is, but you would think that the distributor up there would have that stuff everywhere.
I would think. But in Ottumwa, Iowa, if I was a restaurant in Ottumwa, Iowa, I would have grape New-Hi.
You bet.
Let's see. I like grape knee-high.
I do
used
too.
to drink
I
it
like
all the time.
all of them.
I haven't had one in a while.
Grape, orange.
Orange.
Used to have a peach knee-high. It was really good too.
Yes, I've had that one too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Peaches again.
Have you ever been to the Amana colonies?
I have in Central Illinois.
In Iowa.
Oh, and Iowa? No, I don't think I've ever been to those. I think. I don't. My wife would have to tell me.
Well, the Amana colonies, it's where they build the Amana products. But anyway, the Amana colonies. Oh my gosh, they have great food, and they have this place. I don't even know what I mean, it's like a farm. You drive up. I mean, there's not even like much of a parking lot or anything. I mean, it's just a building. You go in, and they've got like a gift shop, and then they take you down into I guess they were the wine cellars or whatever. Anyway, they have German Oompa bands, and oh man, the food there was just amazing.
What is the name of the one that Kathy and I go to? When we go to, I don't know if it's in Goshen or if it's in Middlebury, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got one up there, and they actually built a business around this place. But they have a bakery on the back side of it, and the food is it's all buffet.
Yeah. See, I get nervous when I go that far east. When I get close to New Jersey.
Yeah. No, you're far enough away there. You can jump right. You can jump back on the highway. Just go north of there, and you could be right in Michigan.
So I want to talk about. Well, New Jersey reminded me of something. I went to the my class.
Yes, your class reunion.
No.
Oh, over the union. Okay. Yeah.
The sheriff's office on Mondays. I go to the thing over there, the academy.
Yeah.
The Sheriff's Citizens Academy. That's what it's called. Anyway, so we were doing things with fingerprints.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, for one thing that kind of amazed me. Well, I knew this, but people think fingerprints. Everything's solved by fingerprints.
Sure.
Because they watched a lot of CSI.
Right. Yeah.
So actually, that's the class that I had on this past Monday was CSI, and we have a CSI department at the sheriff's office, but they're not like CSI you watch on because we don't have the funding for all of that lab equipment and all this stuff. They ended up sending stuff to the highway patrol or whatever.
FBI.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so I said, what percentage of crimes are solved by fingerprints? And they laughed and they said, we have a closet over there and it's got a dozen T-shirts in it that have a big fingerprint on it, and it said, I solved a crime with a fingerprint. And he goes, if somebody on the sheriff's force solves a crime with a fingerprint, we give them one of these T-shirts. And he goes, we don't give out very many T-shirts. So, but anyway, they were showing us how to dust for prints and stuff like that. But then they've got the thing, like McGee carries around on his cell phone or whatever. Well, they've got something like that, but it actually plugs into a laptop. And but it's it's a little smaller than a cell phone, but you just lay your finger in there and it was, so I'm sure that anybody that's gone into the military has had to give the government their fingerprints, right? Now they do DNA. They probably do fingerprints too, but they do DNA. Back when we were in, they
just did fingerprints.
Well, back when you were in,
they didn't have DNA.
They didn't know what DNA was.
No. Yep.
But anyway,
divorce, no alimony.
Yeah,
that's DNA.
Yeah. So I put my finger on the thing, thinking that it was going to pop up and say
Sam Scott.
Yeah, because I I was in the Air Force.
Right.
I figured that somewhere on file no, nothing.
Didn't pop up at all.
Nothing. And so I thought, and the captain, he was like, "Oh, you look confused or whatever," and I was like, "Well, I was in the military. I would think my finger." He goes, "Well, the military doesn't really share." He says, "Now, if we ask them, we're fairly certain that you're the culprit or whatever, and we've got some fingerprints, and we don't have them anywhere else on file." He goes, we can ask the military, and they will probably give them to us. He goes, but they don't just, they're not just on file out there.
Really?
And which I was a little surprised about.
I am too.
Yeah. So then the other thing is I said, but you guys have my fingerprints.
Right.
And he goes, why would we have your fingerprints? And I said, because I came over here for concealed carry, and you guys took my prints. And he goes, we just send them to Jeff City to the Highway Patrol, and they look and see if you're wanted for anything, and if not, they just go away. I said, you guys don't keep them on? No.
I'm surprised.
I am too. Well, now, they used to ink you, and now it's like a scanner.
Yeah.
Put your hands.
It goes across and gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, gets it, whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, but I had mine done. They had to roll it on the thing and then roll it,
So the other thing they said is, most crooks wear gloves. So that's another reason, he said usually if it's a crime of opportunity or a crime of passion or something like that, no gloves. But normally if the guy goes out
burglary or something like that, they got gloves.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not there.
So yeah.
How about being wanted in New Jersey?
Well, apparently the people in New Jersey don't have my fingerprints. If they did, they would probably come and get me. But.
Well, if they were yours, how'd they get them?
Well, that's the thing is whoever has the same name as me that, committed all of these heinous parking crimes.
Yeah.
Because as far as I can figure out, they won't tell me a whole lot, but I have found out that whoever the Sam Scott is that was born on the same day as me in 1963, has the same middle initial, and they either don't know or won't tell me because I have given them my Social Security number.
Right.
But they still have me somehow.
It's an identity thing is what it is.
Well, that's what it is. But the thing is the best I can figure, there was 3 non-moving traffic violations that the guy was wanted on. And they will not, unless I go to New Jersey and appear before a judge and explain to him that, well, see, I can't even use that excuse that I'd never been to New Jersey because if I appear before the judge in New Jersey, I've been to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an absolutely ridiculous mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now, when I go to get my driver's license renewed, there's an automatic, when it pops up on the screen, it says call the help desk in Jefferson City, So, but now at least the help desk knows what's going on and they'll pass it through.
Yeah, you hope.
Well, they did the last time.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a couple months ago, whatever it was. All right. So more bad news. Wholesale inflation jumped 11.2%. Wow. The Labor Department said yesterday that its producer price index, which tracks inflation before it hits consumers, jumped 1.4% in March from the prior month and 11.2% from 1 year ago.
Double-digit inflation. That's unbelievable.
It is the largest 12-month increase in wholesale prices since annual rates were first calculated in 2010, adding to pressure on the president as inflation emerges as a top voter concern. I'd like to go on record as saying, duh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Andy Puzder said on Wednesday the BLS shared their latest data for the producer price index that measures the prices paid by wholesalers for their goods. I don't know. He's just basically repeating everything that I just told you. And the Quinnipiac poll. I'd been quoting the Quinnipiac poll for years and years and years, and I didn't even know what a Quinnipiac was.
I have no idea.
It's a college, and it's not very far north of New York City.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like a half-hour drive or something like that. I looked it up the other day. So it's Quinnipiac University, and they've been doing these polls for years and years. Anyway, so Quinnipiac says that Biden shrinks to 33% approval.
Wow.
He's got 54% disapproval. So what's that make it? 87%?
87, yeah.
So the other 13%, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll leave that alone.
Well, and here's something that I actually didn't see until this morning. Ukrainian missiles took out the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet yesterday afternoon.
Really?
Yeah. Multiple Ukrainian sources started reporting that the Moskova, which means Moscow, the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, had been hit by 2 Neptune anti-ship cruise missiles fired from near Odessa. The missile is a native Ukrainian design based on the Russian Kh-35, but it has a superior range and accuracy because it wasn't designed in Russia. It has a range of about 175 miles and only entered active service in 2021, according to Red State. Meanwhile, more weaponry pours in from the west, and Russia is unable to stop it, according to the Associated Press.
What did they expect?
Well, I don't know, but
you start taking out ships, and that's going to... You would think that this should make it Putin think a little bit, you know?
Yeah, but, he's... I don't know. He's like all in on this, and
yeah.
I don't think his brain's working right. He's lost far more soldiers.
Oh, than he ever dreamed he'd ever leave.
He's
lost a lot of his
civilians and children,
yep.
and here's the thing. They were talking about war crimes. Well, war crimes, unless you can go in and extract him, war crimes don't mean anything.
No.
As long as he's in his country.
They're trying to make people hate him because of war crimes, and that's not going to take that. You can do that anyway.
Sure. But unless you're able to bring him out of the country and do something with him.
And what's the odds of that?
It means zero.
Well, that's the odds of getting him out of there, too.
Well,
zero.
Yeah. I mean, he's protected. I'm not saying we...
No,
I'm not saying we should do it.
No, absolutely not.
His people should do it.
They should take care of it internally.
Yeah. I don't know. But they should turn him over to... What do they call it? The Hague or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
They should. I don't know. Let's see. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, in a move that will likely trigger a huge legal fight, pushing ahead with a new congressional map for his state that could allow Republicans to pick up an additional 4 seats this year. That was in Politico. From another story, congressional experts noted that if DeSantis' map is successfully implemented, it would entirely wipe out all the redistricting wins that Democrats have secured thus far for the upcoming midterm elections. That's according to Daily Wire. Well, Missouri still hadn't figured out our maps.
Still working on it.
Some of the people that have filed for office don't know what district they're going to be representing if they win.
Right. I thought that was pretty much done, but then it just got sent back.
No. And the good old CDC, they extended the travel mask requirement.
Did they really?
Yeah. It was supposed to expire on April the 18th, which is just be, 4 days?
Next Monday, yeah.
They've extended it by 2 weeks to monitor for any observable increase in severe virus outcomes as cases rise in parts of the country. The move was being made out of an abundance of caution, the person said, speaking on the condition of anonymity to preview the CDC's action. So I saw another story that there's a new strain of
the Omicron
COVID AN, I don't know, WD-40.
Yeah.
I don't know. So no. Let's see. In the Wall Street Journal is saying violence in New York is a product of progressives. The shooting, of course, we lost.
Subway.
Yeah. The shooting comes some 100 days after new Mayor Eric Adams took office on a platform of restoring public order. However, the mayhem has continued. It's impossible to understate the damage that was done to the city by the former mayor, Bill de Blasio's soft on crime and hard on police policies. New York had a renaissance under mayors Rudy Giuliani and Michael Bloomberg, who made controlling crime a priority, but the progressive left has come to dominate New York politics and derided the policies that cleaned up the streets. No surprise, crime has made a comeback. The problem isn't guns, which New York strictly regulates. The problem is the lack of political will to keep criminals and the homeless mentally ill off the streets.
Well, can't argue that point.
And then Los Angeles.
Oh, the other side of the world.
Yeah, dealing with growing gangs and violent thieves.
Well,
and,
that's...
I could probably read that story, and it would be
Exactly.
pretty much the
Same thing you just read.
that I just read.
Yep.
Because, I don't know. It's about 5 minutes in front of 8 o'clock, and you got anything exciting over there?
Nothing exciting. But
come on.
Here's 3 things you didn't know yesterday.
Well, there's probably lots of things I didn't know yesterday, and I probably still don't know them today.
Okay. Did you know?
Did I know?
Did you know? Pigs eat more when they're listening to classical music.
Okay.
Did you care?
No, but...
Bacon.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're trying to fatten up a pig instead of making them listen to hard rock or rap or country or whatever you...
Listen to classical.
Classical.
Bacon. I just keep thinking, okay, well, that's bacon, so that's good.
The Barber of Seville or something.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da.
Now, this, I want you to check this. Make sure you fact-check this.
William Tell Overture.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Called the Superman theme?
No, it's the Lone Ranger.
Or Lone Ranger, yeah. That's Superman, Lone Ranger, yeah. It's close. You need to fact-check this.
Close,
yeah.
Yeah, you were real close.
Yeah.
Because they were both in a song together. Right?
Yeah,
you don't tug on Superman's cape.
That's right. Don't spit in the wind.
Don't spit in the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger.
You don't mess around
with Jim.
Jim
or Slim.
Slim.
By
Slim.
the end of the song, it's
Slim.
Slim.
Yeah, it's Slim. It's Jim until you get to Slim.
That's right.
Okay, you got to fact check this.
Yes.
A person swallows approximately 295 times while eating dinner. So you should fact check that.
See, take bigger bites and you swallow less.
Yeah.
You work those. Yeah.
You know, this chew 50 times or 100 times, what it is before you swallow. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
There we go back to Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Iowa.
And it's not heaven.
Iowa.
Mm-hmm. The top egg-producing state, which I wasn't aware they were the top egg-producing state, produces more than 17 billion, with a B, eggs each year.
Yeah. There's a bunch of chickens in Iowa.
Well, you've got the chickens and the eggs, and you got the bacon for the pigs.
Yeah.
Hey, we got breakfast. We're good to go.
Yeah.
So aren't you glad you asked me if I had anything?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you know any of those things?
No. Did you know it's Mike Davis's birthday today?
I did know it was Mike
There's
Davis.
a couple of different Mike Davises, and this is the one that's,
he just lost his mama.
Yeah. She just passed away
sorry
a few
about
days
that,
ago.
Michael, and the whole family.
Yeah.
Bob.
It's Bob Davis's brother, and his sister Robin.
Cody Davis's grandma.
Yeah. But Robin Davis. Carmen.
Carmen. Yeah.
Robin Carmen. She was in my class.
Happy birthday, Michael.
Miranda Ellis.
Miranda Ellis. I don't know that I.
Yeah, she was Miranda Harms when she worked for us many years ago. And but she's been married to Craig Ellis now for 15 years today.
15 years. Congratulations, newlyweds.
Got some kids. And let's see. I think that's Greg Jones. I got an email from Greg, and he apparently this is spring break or something for his kids.
So he's not going to be on?
He's going to be on, but we're going to do Zoom.
We're going to Zoom. Okay. He was in last month.
Yeah. We're going to Zoom from, he's at home watching his kid.
Oh, okay. So he's got kid duty.
Right. And then later on today, about 10:05, we're going to have live from the White Mule Winery. The White Mule Winery is going to be closed on Easter Sunday, as they probably should be, so. But they wanted everybody to know, don't plan on coming out for the pan fry on Sunday because they're going to be closed for Easter.
Can you guess this?
Can I guess this?
I'd have never guessed this.
All right,
never.
Let me ding, ding, ding.
In 1776.
A
little before my time, too.
I was going to say.
A popular breakfast for American kids was served with sugar and cream. What was it?
Gravel. No.
Popcorn.
Popcorn for breakfast?
Popcorn.
Okay.
Popcorn's good for any meal.
Yeah. Why not? Sugar and cream and
I
popcorn.
couldn't have guessed that. I couldn't have guessed it, so they got me.
It's
all the useless information I'm going to give you this afternoon.
All right, well, I don't know. I was talking to somebody the other day, about grits.
Yeah, I'm not a grits guy.
I like grits.
Well, you got to have a bunch of
a lot
sugar,
of butter,
a lot of butter, sugar. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily like the grits just plain.
Yeah.
But I do like grits.
Yeah, I'm not a grits guy.
But I do this same. I love oatmeal, and I can eat oatmeal plain, but I normally put a lot of butter and sugar on it, and I don't know, just like malto meal.
Yeah.
Do you eat that?
I did when I was a kid. I did.
Yeah, well, same thing. Put a lot of butter and sugar on it, and it's there you go. All right, we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour. You know what? We didn't do any of our ed. We'll do
them all next month. Or next
month.
Next
We are
hour.
AM 1560 KTUI Sullivan 94.1 FM. You can pick up the morning show on YouTube. You can also get us on the TuneIn app. And it is 8 o'clock, in time now for the expanded edition of KTUI News. Stay tuned.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
We've learned why billionaire Elon Musk turned down joining the Twitter board of directors after purchasing a majority of stock. Mr. Musk wants the whole company and is offering between $41 and $43 billion to make it his. The official filing was made Thursday. The sale, if approved, would be $54.20 a share. Daniel Ives with Wedbush Securities on CNBC Thursday morning.
I mean, I think this is basically going to put Twitter back against the wall. There's really no way that Twitter, in my opinion, could reject this.
Pfizer-BioNTech reported Thursday that in a trial, a booster dose of its coronavirus vaccine in children ages 5 to 11 increased the level of antibodies that neutralize the original version of the virus and the Omicron variant. USA Radio News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
A drag show in school for students is rewarded with money in Washington State.
A Washington State school district is rewarding a middle school LGBTQ club $2,000 for setting up a drag show for students. 770 AM Washington reports Bellingham Public Schools announced the Whatcom Middle School group as the winner of its Think Big competition. The drag show beat out building storm gardens and helping meet student transportation needs to and from school. In the USA Radio News Midwest Bureau, I'm Katie Lewis.
LinkedIn changed its mind and reinstated an Air Force veterans post about student loans, and LinkedIn apologized for labeling the statement as hate speech. Veteran Gretchen Smith said freedom has been secured with our blood, sweat, lives, and tears. Every American has a duty to protect our freedoms. End quote. Ms. Smith says she can now start focusing again on veterans in crisis needs. USA Radio News.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you just have a plan you're not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. There are hundreds of thousands of members, and they love it. MediShare has a 98% customer satisfaction rating, and this is obviously huge. The typical family saves around $6,000 a year switching to MediShare. Find out more. They're great to talk to. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Speaking on his trip from Ukraine, former New York Representative Republican Michael Grimm on Newsmax doesn't understand why our government is slow to respond.
You have to ask yourself why. Why did this administration start buying oil from Russia? Why did we lift sanctions that President Trump had put in place on Russia? So when you look at just from the very beginning days that this administration started after the election, they've been doing nothing but bolstering. And you can't, there's no way you can't make the argument that a lot of the money they make from selling oil to places like the United States helps fund this war in Ukraine. So it's just deplorable the way our government has acted. Why is President Biden holding back on sending MiGs to Ukraine? Why are we not sending more aid? Why are we not helping out? I understand why there's a no-fly zone. That part I understand in NATO's reluctance, but not sending the weapons and the missile defense systems that they need simply doesn't make sense.
Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. pled guilty on Wednesday to a misdemeanor count of forcibly touching a woman at a New York nightclub in 2018 as part of an agreement with prosecutors that spares him any jail time. The guilty plea, in which Gooding also admitted in court to subjecting 2 other women to non-consensual physical contact in 2018 and 2019, was also a part of the settlement. Lance Pry, USA Radio News.
At Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, we don't just work in the community, we live here too. We understand what it means to raise a family here, and we know the importance of having the highest quality healthcare nearby, with BJC Healthcare doctors, nurses, and specialists to treat all your needs. This is your best medicine. Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, proud to serve the community we call home. For compassionate cancer care close to home, our neighbors turn to Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital. They can receive preventative screenings, see their doctor, and get most treatments and infusions without having to leave the comfort of our community. As part of BJC Healthcare, we bring the latest cancer treatments to you, right here, for the highest quality care. Your best medicine is close to home at Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital.
Missouri Net News, I'm Brent Palm. Congressman Sam Graves says the Biden administration needs to encourage domestic oil production in the wake of countries canceling contracts for Russian oil. The Missouri Republican claims the president's bowing to pressure from progressive Democrats who oppose drilling in the U.S.
But this idea that we're going to force people to have to pay more money at the pump so that they go buy an electric or just quit driving altogether, that is very bad policy, and that's exactly what's taking place with the progressives.
President Biden announced Tuesday the EPA will allow year-round sales of E15. Gas prices have been dropping the last couple weeks. Authorities in western Missouri's Clinton County are investigating the discovery of human remains. Sheriff's deputies say remains were found on a farm near Gower Sunday. A forensic lab is working to identify the bones and determine a cause of death. And Missouri's March unemployment rate of 3.6% is a tenth of a point lower than February, but employment decreased by 200 jobs last month. This is Missouri Net.
I get my power from my co-op so I can put my energy into my family.
Into waking up the neighborhood. Latte for Christine.
I get my power from the co-op so I can put my energy into planting seeds for a brighter future.
Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, power to your community, for your community, so your energy can go into the things that matter most to you.
My 69 Camaro.
Who powers you? Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source of power and information.
We are Missouri's electric cooperatives. Learn more at membersfirst.coop today.
I'm Miles Strid. I'm a deputy warden at the Jefferson City Correctional Center for the Missouri Department of Corrections. I think a lot of people, when they look at corrections, they think, oh, I couldn't do that job. You know, it's difficult. Maybe it's dangerous. They're apprehensive about pursuing a career with us. What might surprise them is that most of the time in corrections, you're just dealing with people. Corrections is an exciting career. If you're the type of person that likes the data fly by and enjoys a challenge, you need to apply today.
Secure your future. To apply, text DOC to 44844.
Hi, this is Ryan Juergens, loan officer at First State Community Bank in Sullivan. Are you wanting a home with acreage, a hobby farm, or simply looking for a short-term loan? At First State Community Bank, we're offering a new 7-year adjustable rate mortgage program. Check out our 7-1 and 7-3 options, available to those with a 680 credit score or higher. Stop by to see our team today about the possibility of getting started.
First State Community Bank, member FDIC, online at fscb.com.
As we all live longer, age really is just a number, but retirement is so much more than one. Hi, I'm Donnie Greenwald, your Sullivan Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to know what retirement means to you. Together, we can look at the big picture and make a strategy to help you reach your goals. Because you can't prepare for the unexpected if you don't know where you're headed. Call me at 573-468-6046 or visit edwardjones.com to get started today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
A 19-year-old is facing multiple felony charges for allegedly striking a pair of Eureka police officers with a stolen car. According to a spokesperson for the Eureka Police Department, Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies and Eureka officers were patrolling the Marisol Manor neighborhood around 5 a.m. Tuesday. They were looking for several suspects in a stolen vehicle who were stealing items from cars. One teen was taken into custody. They were searching for others. Police identified the stolen Jefferson County vehicle, a black Honda Pilot, near the intersection of Highway 109 and 4th Street. The officer walked over to the suspect's vehicle to make an arrest. He was knocked to the ground by the vehicle, which then rammed into the side of another fully marked police vehicle driven by a school resource officer. The Eureka officer struck by the suspect's vehicle was taken to the hospital to have surgery for a broken ankle. The school resource officer was also injured. The Honda Pilot was later found abandoned. 3 teens and 1 adult were eventually taken into custody. Yesterday, the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office charged Ryan Lavelle Adams with first-degree tampering with a motor vehicle, second-degree assault on a special victim, resisting interfering with an arrest for a felony, and resisting arrest, detention, stop by fleeing, creating a substantial risk of injury or death. Adams remains jailed on a $200,000 cash-only bond. A suspected bank robber was arrested in Florissant yesterday afternoon. The robbery happened at the U.S. Bank at 1000 North Lindbergh around 1:15 p.m. According to Florissant police, the suspect had a gun when he entered the bank, told the teller he was robbing them. Florissant officers reported arresting the suspect almost immediately. No injuries were reported. And police in Kirkwood arrested a man yesterday for allegedly enticing girls in Kirkwood. Police said the man was in a dark-colored, possibly blue minivan and attempted to entice 2 girls who were walking Tuesday between 3:45 and 4:45 p.m. near North Geyer Road and Essex Avenue. Both girls refused. The minivan drove off. Police also found the vehicle believed to be connected to the incident. They did not provide the suspect's name, but said more information will be provided once the investigation is complete. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported an accident in Phelps County at 10:43 last night on Highway DD, a mile east of St. James. A pedestrian, 40-year-old Mark A. Perkins of St. James, walked into the path of a 2016 Toyota Yaris driven by 23-year-old Daniel J. Morse Sexton of Rolla and was struck. Perkins had serious injuries and was transported by air ambulance to Columbia Hospital. There was an accident in Franklin County at 2:50 p.m. yesterday on westbound US 50 at Route AT. 85-year-old Arthur L. LeBeau of Villa Ridge was driving a 2000 Buick LeSabre, failed to yield while at a stop sign, traveled into the intersection. The front of a 2017 Honda Civic, driven by 29-year-old Paige A. Forbeck of Pacific, struck the side of the Buick LeSabre. 85-year-old Art LeBeau of Villa Ridge had serious injuries. He was transported by Union Ambulance to Mercy in St. Louis. There was an accident at 12:15 p.m. yesterday in Crawford County on I-44 at the 203 mile marker westbound. 49-year-old Angelique Y. Blue of St. James was driving a 2015 Ford F-150. Her vehicle began hydroplaning, traveled off the right side of the roadway, and struck a concrete culvert. Angelique Blue had minor injuries. She was transported by North Crawford Ambulance to Phelps Health in Rolla. There was an accident in Phelps County at 11:43 a.m. yesterday on Highway 63, 3 miles north of Rolla. 45-year-old Jeffrey A. Hubbard of West Plains was driving a 2015 Peterbilt, lost control of the vehicle. It crossed the center of the roadway and sideswiped a 2007 Chevrolet Cobalt driven by 51-year-old Valen D. Schwegler of Vienna. Schwegler had moderate injuries. He was transported by Phelps Health to Phelps Health Hospital in Rolla. The Sullivan City Council is set to meet in regular session on Tuesday, April 19th at 7 p.m. in the boardroom at City Hall, 210 West Washington in Sullivan. They will go over the monthly bills in the amount of $1,262,175.21. They will then go over the election results from Franklin County and Crawford County. The city clerk will then give the oath of office to the newly elected officials. The Ward 1 Alderman Mark Dalton and Chris Bunk, and Ward 2 Alderman Jason Alexander, and the new Ward 3 Alderman George Randy Counts. 2 ordinances are on the agenda. Bill number 3950 is sponsored by Alderman Bunk, and that would annex property located at 1794 Elmont Road, owned by Hayden Locke and Danica Landwehr, members HDRE Homes LLC. The property was reviewed and recommended for acceptance by Planning and Zoning on April 12th and is to be zoned R4, low-density residential. Bill number 3951, also sponsored by Alderman Bunk, would reduce the existing park and trail easement by vacating the portion west of the trail, east of the Cripple Creek subdivision. Planning and zoning reviewed and recommended approval on April 12th. The property is located off North and South Road and owned by Kenneth Wilson. They do have real estate litigation and personnel scheduled for closed session. The new St. Louis Music Park at the Centene Community Ice Center is gearing up for concert season. The music park is holding a multi-day job fair. They're looking to hire various positions, including guest services, event security, and concessions. Experience helps, but everyone will be considered. The fair runs from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. today, tomorrow, and Saturday. St. Louis Music Park is located at 750 Casino Center Drive in Maryland Heights. The Franklin County Clerk, Tim Baker, wants to remind you that the County Government Center, County Administrative Offices, Historic Courthouse, the Health Department, and the Highway Department will all be closed tomorrow in observance of Good Friday. The Sheriff's Department will remain open as they are 24 hours a day each and every day. And don't forget that next week is the spring citywide cleanup in the city of Sullivan. If you have any questions, contact Swinger Sanitation at 877-407-8261. That is a look at your local news on this Thursday. I'm Sam Scott.
Seidenstricker Nobe Partners Drive Green, Save Green sales event is here just for the month of April. Choose one of our 1 through 4 series John Deere compact tractor packages and save an extra $500. Choose our 5E tractor and save $1,000 off our already low S&P prices. Drive green, save green with Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land. snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 4/30/2022. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
I hate thinking about HVAC, but if I don't, I just want to be comfortable at home.
I'm comfortable, and I never think about my AC.
I'm listening.
Register your HVAC system with Level 9's Comfort Club.
Comfort Club?
They think about your AC for you. It's all they do.
They check it, they clean it, they maintain it, they fix it.
So you don't have to.
You're always there for me, aren't you?
Always.
We're Level 9 Heating and Cooling. Level9HVAC.com.
Funeral notices are brought to you by the Eaton Funeral Homes of Sullivan and Bourbon. The symbol of the Eaton name reflects consideration and competence. Also quiet, unobtrusive friendliness and service without restraint. There is never a reason to settle for less than an Eaton service, particularly because it costs no more and very often less than appearances may lead you to believe. For help in the greatest time of need, call the Eaton Funeral Homes in Sullivan or Bourbon. 468-4147, a family tradition in service since 1948.
In recent funeral notices, James Edward Schmidt Sr. of Sullivan passed away Sunday at the age of 86. Survived by his son, James Jr., a daughter, Robin, a sister, Carol, and one brother-in-law, John, as well as his grandchildren, other relatives, and many friends. Graveside services will be held at 11 o'clock this morning at the Buffalo Cemetery. Online condolences may be shared with James' family at EatonFuneralHome.com. Mary Ann McPherson of Cuba passed away Monday at the age of 87. She's survived by 7 children: Tom and wife Connie McPherson of Cuba, John and wife Michelle McPherson of Rosebud, Sherman McPherson of Cuba, Sharon Harvey of Wildwood, Bonnie and husband John Hoy of Owensville, Julie McPherson and husband Rick Hendricks of St. Joseph, and Nancy Brooks of Cuba. A sister, Catherine Lackner of Cuba, 3 brothers, Thomas and wife Jerry Menz of Owensville, Eugene and wife Sue Menz of Owensville, Louis and wife Margaret Menz of New Haven, 18 grandchildren, 37 great-grandchildren, 1 great-great-grandchild, nieces, nephews, great-nieces and nephews, other relatives, and many friends. A graveside service for Mary Ann McPherson will be held at 11 o'clock this morning at Merrimack Hills Cemetery in Cuba. All arrangements under the direction of the Mizell Funeral Home of Cuba. Coulter Lowridge, the stillborn infant of Wyatt and Lillian Lowridge of Cooper Hill, passed away Saturday. Also survived by grandparents Lowridge of Bland and Jansen of Owensville. Funeral services will be held at noon today at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in the Bland Union Cemetery in Bland. Visitation will be from 9 o'clock this morning until the time of services at noon at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Michelle M. Shell Annis, née Mercer of Sullivan, passed away Friday at the age of 47. Survived by her husband John, Her parents, Clifton Mercer of Sullivan and Linda S. Donaldson, née Lamke of Branson. A son, John Michael Annis of Fenton. Her sister, Crystal, and husband, Jeff Baus of Cuba. Her mother-in-law, Diane Demiria of Kansas. A granddaughter, 2 nephews, 2 great-nieces, aunts, uncles, cousins, other relatives, and many friends. Funeral services for Shell Annis will be held at 1 o'clock this afternoon at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Interment will follow at the Reedville Cemetery in rural Sullivan. Visitation will be from 11 o'clock this morning until the time of services at 1 at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Norma Jean Trendle of Sullivan passed away Tuesday at the age of 74. She's survived by her husband Vernon, 4 children, Vernon Allen Trendle and wife Lynn of Bourbon, Chad Trendle and wife Carrie of Bourbon, Jeannie Carey and husband Dan of Bourbon, and Diana Martin and husband Aaron of Wildwood. Her mother, Alice Bishop of Owensville, 2 brothers, Dale Bishop of Chula and Dean Bishop, and wife Teresa of Bourbon. A sister, Robin Voss, and husband Jim of Sullivan, 6 grandchildren, an honorary grandson, numerous nieces, nephews, great-nieces and nephews, other relatives, and many friends. Funeral services for Norma Jean Trendle will be held Friday at noon at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. Interment will follow in the Holy Martyrs of Japan Catholic Cemetery. Visitation will be from 5 until 8 p.m. on Thursday at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. Memorial contributions may be made to Promise Community Homes in the name of Norma Jean Trendle. Larry Bingaman Sr. of Gerald passed away Tuesday at the age of 81. He's survived by his sons, Larry Bingaman Jr. of Gerald, Brent Russert of House Springs, John Bingaman of Blackjack, and Dean Brueggemann of High Ridge. A daughter, Crystal Schletty of St. Louis, his sister, Betty Jo Bingaman of Nashville, Tennessee, 13 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in St. Paul's United Church of Christ Cemetery in Gerald. Visitation will be Friday from 4 until 8 p.m. at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Tabitha R. Tabby Dawson, a Kirtner of Cuba, passed away Sunday at the age of 47. Survived by 2 daughters, Danielle Isbell and fiancé T.J. Johnson of Bourbon, Ashley and wife Amber Bartle of Cuba, her mother, Dorothy Fisher of Cuba, 5 siblings, Alan and wife Dana Kirtner of Cuba, Tammy and husband Bradley Bagwell of Cuba, Billy and husband Mike Bricker of Fayetteville, Arkansas, Tucker and wife Lorenza Kirtner of Cuba, and Christina Jones of Rolla. Her uncle Ronald Lewis of Cuba, 1 grandson, nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many friends. Funeral services for Tabby Dawson will be held Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. In keeping with her wishes, Tabby will be cremated following the funeral service. Visitation will be Saturday from noon until the time of services at 1 p.m. at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba.
Funeral notices are brought to you by the Eaton Funeral Homes of Sullivan and Bourbon.
As a trauma-informed provider, Compass Health Network is equipped to assist you or a loved one struggling with trauma, anxiety, depression, substance use disorder, or other behavioral health conditions. Our providers understand that everyone's life experiences are different and will work with you in person or virtually to develop the most effective plan of care. You are not alone. Call Compass Health Network today at 844-853-8937 or visit compasshealthnetwork.org for more information.
Mobile Wallet, a fast and safe way to pay at millions of stores and within mobile apps. This is Debbie Durham with Sullivan Bank. Start by storing your card's information digitally and securely on your smart device. Shop your favorite merchants using your smartphone, tablet, or smartwatch. Your mobile device sends a unique one-time passcode to the merchant's terminal that doesn't contain actual card information like your name or card number. Add your Sullivan Bank card to your mobile wallet today. Experience the ease and convenience when making your purchases secure.
After another rainout at home yesterday, the Cardinals are on the road for the first time this season, traveling to Milwaukee. Here's Tom Ackerman with the Cardinals Radio Network to set the stage for today's game.
Well, good morning, everyone. The Cardinals find themselves in Milwaukee this morning. They take on the Brewers this afternoon. A 4:14 first pitch for Brandon Woodruff. He'll be going up against Adam Wainwright. What a pitching matchup there as the Cardinals get this series started. The Cardinals are 3-1, off to a good start, won 6-5 in their first game against the Royals. But yesterday's game was rained out. There were storms approaching the area, and the Cardinals called it very early, postponed the game. It'll be made up on Monday, May 2nd at 3:15 at Busch Stadium. They play the Brewers today and this rotation for the series. Wainwright today, Miles Michaelis tomorrow, Steven Matz on Saturday. Sunday, they'll make the decision. It'll either be Dakota Hudson or Jordan Hicks, who looked very good in his debut the other night against the Royals, pitching 2 scoreless innings. The Cardinals and the Brewers this afternoon. Again, a 4:14 first pitch. Look forward to bringing it to you. I'm Tom Ackerman for the Cardinals Radio Network.
Thank you very much, Tom, and we will have that Cardinals game on the air today on 102.1 KTUI FM pregame at 3:15, first pitch at 4:20. The 4-2 win in Boston Tuesday night was the Blues' 6th win in a row, marking their longest win streak of the season and extending their game point streak to 9. During this stretch, the team has scored at least 4 or more goals in every game. With the offense clicking and the defense returning to full strength, the Blues are in Buffalo to try to keep the momentum going. The Blues enter tonight's matchup tied with Minnesota at 96 points for second in the Central Division, though the Wild do have a game in hand to break the tie. We'll join the Blues game in progress after high school baseball night if we get that game in on KTUI 94.1 FM 1560 AM. If we don't play the high school game tonight, the Blues pregame will start at 5:30. University of Missouri baseball welcomes Kentucky to Taylor Stadium for a 3-game SEC series beginning tonight at 7. Game 2 of the series set for a 6 p.m. first pitch Friday. Finale is a 1 o'clock start on Saturday afternoon. The top-ranked Central Missouri Mules baseball team begins a 3-game home series with Pittsburgh State tonight at 6. East Central baseball scheduled to host North Central Missouri College for doubleheaders today and tomorrow, with today's first game at 1 o'clock. Emporia State will be at home for a 3-game series with Washburn starting tonight at 6. Maryville University baseball hosting McKendree for 4 games starting today at 2. St. Charles Community College defeated the Webster University JV on Tuesday 12-1. Spencer Hunter from Borgia was 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored for St. Charles. The Cougars will be on the road for a 4-game series with Crowder College beginning tonight at 6. University of Missouri softball will face off with number 14 Georgia in a 3-game series starting tonight at 5. Game 2 Friday at noon, and the series finale Saturday evening at 5. Mississippi State softball set to meet another top 5 opponent when the Bulldogs travel to number 2 Alabama, starting a 3-game series tonight at 5. Florida International softball on the road to Huntington, West Virginia to play Marshall University for 3 games, with the opener of that series today at 1. And the Central Falcons softball games against Mineral Area today have been canceled. Missouri women's basketball tapping into some in-state talent in the postseason recruitment period, getting its second signee for the 2022 class in West Plains senior Ashton Judd. Judd follows Rockbridge's Avery Cronkey in signing her national letter of intent with Mizzou. Judd, a 6-foot guard, led the Zizzers to a 27-4 record and a Class 5 state championship in her senior campaign, earning Class 5 Player of the Year for this past season. Missouri State's Jasmine Franklin has announced she's entering her name into the transfer portal. The Lady Bears forward made the announcement on social media on Wednesday. Franklin was averaging about 15 points and 12 rebounds a game during this past season before suffering a torn ACL in December. All of the local sporting activities yesterday were canceled due to the weather. Would like to congratulate Washington High School senior Joey Avisha as he has announced his commitment to play football next year at Central Methodist University. Looking at the schedule of local games for today, and again this is all weather and field conditions permitting. In high school baseball, Sullivan scheduled to be at St. Clair today at 4:30. And if they get the game in, we'll broadcast on 94.1 FM 1560 AM and the TuneIn app, with pregame starting at 4:15. Lakeway at Bourbon, New Haven at Herman, Union at Pacific, Vienna at St. James. All 4:30 starts. Owensville at Capital City at 5. Crocker at Steelville at 5. St. James at Owensville for a freshman game at 4:30. Washington at Fort Zumwalt East for a C-team game also at 4:30 today. And again, those are all field conditions permitting. In girls soccer, Sullivan will be at St. James tonight. Smithton at Bell. Washington will be at Fort Zumwalt East for JV and varsity, all those games starting at 5 o'clock. The Rolla Pacific game scheduled for tonight has been postponed. Boys golf on the schedule for today, and again, this is course conditions permitting. Owensville at Herman for a dual meet at Luder Shores at Herman at 4. Pacific at Union for a dual meet at Birch Creek at 4. Warrenton Tournament, Borge and Washington playing there at 9 this morning. And the GVC meet at Cuba today, Bell, Cuba, Steelville, and Viburnum. That gets underway at 9 o'clock this morning. High school track schedule for today, Owensville hosting a relay. Borgia, Bourbon, Fatima, Herman, Salem, Sullivan, some of the local teams running. That'll get underway at 3:30. And Cuba hosting their invitational today with New Haven, St. James, Steelville, and Bell. Some of the local teams running there at 3 o'clock. Sports on the air, we have Cardinals baseball coming up today on the road in Milwaukee against the Brewers. 3:15 pregame, 4:20 first pitch on 102.1 KTUI FM. If they're able to get the games in today, we'll have high school baseball this afternoon. Sullivan at St. Clair, 4:15 pregame, 4:30 first pitch on 94.1 FM, 1560 AM and the TuneIn app. If we get the high school game in, then we'll join the Blues game in Buffalo in progress. If we don't get the high school game in, then we'll have the Blues in its entirety with pregame starting at 5:30 on 94.1 FM and 1560 AM. That is your look at sports on this Thursday. Have a great day, everybody. This is Bobby D.
All right, thank you, Bobby. It is 8:30, and our temperature looks like we're up to about 39 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. Mike Bittner along with me. Good morning once again, Mike.
Good morning, Sam.
And let's see. I heard from Greg Jones this morning, and he is going to be on with me via Zoom because he's
Zoom.
Yeah, we're going to Zoom because he's at home watching his child who's on spring break or something like that.
He's got babysitting duties.
And then live from the White Mule Winery will be
on Memorex.
Memorex, yeah. There's probably a whole generation of people that have no idea what that means because they
never had Memorex.
Never, yeah. Is it live or is it Memorex?
Never experienced Memorex.
Yeah. So.
Well, they ask us all the time: are we live or are we Memorex?
I don't know.
We don't know ourselves.
Can I can't touch you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I want to tell you about Ken Scott over at SBI Insure.
Just saw him.
He can help you with all of your insurance needs, whether they're personal, business, or life. He can package your home, and that's whether you rent, you own, you're making payments, you got a condo, maybe you have all of it. He can package that with your autos, boats, motorcycles, all in an umbrella for additional discounts. He represents several companies rated A and A+ by AM Best, priced competitively on youthful drivers, education discounts, folks in the prime of life discounts, new roof discounts, paid in full discounts, claims-free discounts. Life happens. Let SBI Insure help you with your insurance needs. SBI Insure works with business owners for property, liability, autos, equipment, workers' comp. Call Ken Scott today, 314-623-2093. You owe it to yourself every so often just to check your insurance.
You bet.
And Ken is not a high-pressure guy at all. He's going to work with you, try to see if he can save you money. If you can't, no harm, no foul. Give him a call today. This is his cell phone number, 314-623-2093. 314-623-2093. That's Ken Scott at SBI.
You like doing business with people that are nice people?
Oh, yeah.
They don't get much nicer than Ken, so.
All right, let's see. I found out Savannah Garner has a birthday today.
Savannah does,
so
okay.
Mike Davis and Savannah Garner. Savannah is 30 today.
I guess Mike's still working for the highway department?
I don't know.
I guess he is. I don't know.
Beats me. I haven't talked to Mike in a while. I saw him somewhere.
I saw him at Dukem. It wasn't that long ago. We saw him at Dukem.
But I didn't talk to him. Let's see. Craig and Miranda Ellis celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary today.
Happy anniversary.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, I guess we need to tell you about NAS.
Yeah, I haven't broke my phone, so I shouldn't
say
that.
You haven't broke your phone?
I shouldn't say
that.
that.
Knock on wood.
That was a mistake.
Right around the rim of the table.
There's some on top up here, too. Where it used to be hair.
NAS is your cell phone and tablet repair technician. He's ready to fix your smartphone or your tablet. Does quick phone repairs. Turnaround time in most cases is usually the same day.
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
15 minutes.
I'm telling you, I took the phone in, you know, and he's, I don't know, he didn't say, he said it wouldn't be too long or something, you know, but, and he's located right there on the corner of Taylor and Main Street, right? So anybody that's familiar with Sullivan, I dropped the phone off, I drove up the street, went over to the post office, stopped at Clark Street and picked up a food order that I had ordered, and drove back here to the radio station, and he called when I was in the parking lot. I got to the parking lot, he called and said it was ready. That was a broken screen. I mean, it was broke, you know.
That wasn't a lawnmower screen, was it?
No, that was the station phone.
That was okay.
Yeah. No, the one that Robert ran over with the lawnmower twice.
Yeah.
Was yeah.
Normally you learn after the first time, but it took him a little bit.
I don't know what his deal was. You know, he slipped out of his pocket, and then his next go around he ran over it with the lawnmower, broke the screen, took it to NAS. NAS fixed it. 2 weeks later, he's mowing the lawn. Phone slips out of his pocket, runs over it. So
took it back to NAS and said, "You didn't do a very good job. Look what happened."
Yeah.
No, he didn't do that. I know.
But anyway, so NAS can take care of cracked screen, dead battery, your speaker may not be working on your phone, broken buttons, charger port. A lot of people, the charger port gets loose or gets dirty or something. You can't get it out. He can fix that for you. And if you're getting a new phone, he can transfer data for you too.
That in itself's worth a fortune. You know, because a lot of these people can't. They don't have the access, the availability to do it, or they won't. One or the other.
What was it? I always liked Ron White. You know, in his comedy routine, you know, he said they told me I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the capability.
Yeah. Tater salad?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of, you know, some people have the right to transfer their data. They don't have the capability.
Yep.
Anyway, CNAS, he's located at 136 West Main Street in Sullivan. You can go to NAS Repairs 1, the number 1, NAS Repairs and the number 1.com. His cell phone number is 573-259-9626. NASA's Nasser, actually.
Yeah.
He's the man of the year.
That was I was going to say. Tell him congratulations on being the man of the year.
Yeah. So, anyway.
This stopped right down the street at Wilcox and congratulate his wife for marrying the man of the year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they got a little boy. Cute kid.
Stop next door at Judy's and tell her for having the business next to the man of the year.
Same door, virtually. I mean, you just go up the little walkway and go right to go to NASCAR, left to go to Judy's Artsel at the...
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
Well, okay. So what do you got?
I'm going to go down the street after I congratulate NAS and say hi to Judy and go to Wilcox. And I'm going to go down and get my groceries.
So the other day, you know, a lot of times I stop at Frike's and get lunch.
Yeah.
So the other day, I can't remember, I elected to get lunch somewhere else.
Oh, how dare you.
Yeah. And then my mom shows up at the hangar at the airport, you know, where Dad and I are working on the airplane, right? She shows up, and she'd been to Frike's, and she got a chicken dinner and a fish dinner, and they both looked really, I was like, I should have went to Frike's.
Well, you know, we had the chicken a couple, 2 or 3 meetings ago for
the chamber?
Chamber.
Yeah.
Boy, Tater chicken's
it is
phenomenal. Well, that's just, everything in there is good. But you know what else you can do when you go down there?
Buy groceries?
You sign up for a rewards card.
Oh.
Really easy to do. You can go in there and sign up. You can sign up online. Just go to, to Frikes.com. And you can sign up and you get a reward card and you get points for every dollar you spend. You earn points. And once a month, you get $1 for every 5 points. Every dollar you spend, you get 5 points.
Yes.
Okay. And then at the end of every month, they have reward items that you can turn those points in on and get free items with the points. For example, you can get cocktail sauce for 700 points. You can get the chunk light tuna, the little canister, not canisters, a little bag you can take for lunch for 500 points. You can get, we're stuck on this one, peaches. Canned Libby's peaches, 700 points. I'm peach crazy.
Can you make peach cobbler out of it?
I hope so. I hope so.
I think we're getting a peach cobbler.
Yeah, I think that's what you said. Yeah, rumor has it.
Yeah.
And you can get sandwich bags for 700 points. You can get, let's go on pears. So you can get pears for 700 points. There's a lot of different items that out every month that you can spend your points on. You can save them up. get what you need for free stuff every month. So stop by Frykes for all your likes. You get a rewards card and spend your money local.
All right. 21 minutes in front of 9 o'clock. And it looks like we're up over the 40-degree mark here.
You give it a heat wave.
I'd welcome that. Well,
my sinuses would appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Focus on the Family. We run Focus on the Family Minute every day.
At First Baptist Church sponsors, I think, isn't it? Right here in town.
On Tuesdays.
Yep.
Focus on the Family highlights fatherhood bill from Florida. The
DeSantis?
No, the Cave. Merrimack Caverns.
Oh, okay.
They also sponsor it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So from the Focus on the Family president, Jim Daly, it's called the, quote, Responsible Fatherhood Bill, unquote, and funds will be distributed to nonprofit groups committed to dads. The dollars will be focused on mentoring and numerous other father-related resources. This promises to be money well spent. Quote, incredibly, there are those who diminish the importance of our fatherhood in the nuclear family. We will not let that happen in our state, unquote, said Governor DeSantis. And then, quote, I am proud to say we are doing everything we can to support involved fatherhood in Florida, unquote. Every scientific measurement of child well-being around the globe consistently reveals that fatherlessness is profoundly harmful to children and society. I'm glad to see that they're doing something about it. Let's see. The Biden administration continues efforts to force vaccine mandates. You know, apparently that had gotten out of the news cycle, I guess.
Because we got to bring it back in again.
Well, yeah.
Something else must have slowed down.
The story says the Justice Department has requested a federal appeals court to allow President Biden's administration to resume enforcement of a federal employee vaccine mandate that was previously blocked by a lower court judge. That's in the Washington Examiner, so
crazy.
I don't know.
You know how many kinds of trees there are? Different. Seriously, you know how many different types of trees there are?
I know exactly.
You read the story already.
No, but I I'm something of a
botanist,
tree.
Wouldn't they call
person or something?
Not a botanist. What do they call that? Arborist.
An arborist. Yeah.
Arborist.
So here's there are three.
Okay, oaks, maple, and
no. There are evergreen type trees.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one.
Yes.
There are the sweet gum trees.
Yeah, everybody loves those because the sweet gum balls would fall off of them.
And then there are other trees.
Oh, there you go.
That's the three.
I can't disagree with that.
No. Evergreen,
sweet gum,
and other trees.
Talk about sweet gum. I was over and talked to Travis over at the funeral home.
Yes.
And the kids were all around.
I have three sweet gum trees.
You have three of them. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who to call. Travis had all the kids outside with rakes and bags, raking up and picking up all the sweet gum balls.
Yeah.
Because when you hit them with a lawnmower, they're like a projectile.
Yeah, I shoot them at my neighbors.
Yeah.
I can. Yeah. Joe Hennings, they live across the street. And I don't think they have any. They don't have any sweet gum.
Well, you could give them some.
I try to plant some.
Yeah.
I shoot them across there with the lawnmower.
Yeah, but it's only fair.
But Gary, he mows his lawn all the time. He keeps them mowed down. So.
The guy yelled at me the other day for mowing my grass already.
I quit mowing my grass. I got me a service.
Yeah, you got a guy.
I got a guy.
You got a guy. Yeah. 60,000.
60,000 different types of trees.
60,000 different species.
Species of trees.
Of trees worldwide.
I'm going to stick with 3.
Yeah. Well, this is that. If you're not sure, you can actually get on the internet because you know everything you find on the internet is correct.
Oh yes.
Okay. And there's a database that can help that. The scientists from the Botanic Gardens Conservation International run the database on the number of trees. Now, here's something you'll need to know this. This will probably come up in a trivia contest sometime.
All right.
What country has the highest number of different tree species? I'll throw out the United States. I'll tell you that's not it.
The United States is
It's not it. It's not it.
I'm going to say South America.
You're on the right continent.
Yeah. Oh, what country?
What country?
What country? Let's see.
Looking at the map we got over here.
Brazil's the biggest one in South America, and Argentina is farther south. I'm going to go with Brazil.
Oh, ding, 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 ding! You
Really?
win. You win the prize.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Brazil got 8,761 different species of trees. So if you have a lot of allergies,
don't go to Brazil.
Don't go to Brazil.
Okay. All right. See, I'm going to stick with my three.
I like your three.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
evergreens, non-evergreens, and the rest.
See, that's my theory on dogs too. Because people are, there's so many different breeds of dogs. I was like, there's 3 breeds of dogs. There's dachshunds or wiener dogs, right?
Yep.
There's beagles.
Yep.
And then not
Other
beagles.
dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, not beagles.
Yeah.
So that's
Pretty much
I
covers
can
it.
tell a dachshund because
Beagles, you got to be careful because smaller basset hounds can look like a beagle, except their ears.
Don't confuse me, Mike.
You're easily confused, aren't you?
I don't know, but
what else you got over there? You got
now I've forgotten what the breed of dog is that they rescue you on the mountain.
St. Bernards.
St. Bernard, yeah. So the people that
got the little thing underneath their chin. Yeah, a little keg under their chin would.
Yeah, and when they show up, they pull you out of the snow, and then they
give you a drink.
No, they pull that thing off, and they mix themselves a drink it, and pack it up, and haven't you ever
Shaken,
seen that?
not stirred.
Haven't you ever seen that cartoon where the dog makes himself a drink and then goes on back? Where the United States is considering sending a high-level official to Ukraine, bolstering support for the country amid an anticipated Russian offensive in the east. I'm sure that's what the Ukrainians want is an official from the United States.
Yeah.
They'd rather have.
Hey, send me a pallet of guns and leave the rest of it at home.
And bullets, and ammo. We can't send them ammo because you can't find it anymore.
No, we don't have any more.
I drove past I don't even remember where I was, but I drove past a store the other day, and the store had a great big hand-painted sign that says, "We have ammo."
Really?
I was like, well, there you
My
go.
ammo guy's, I don't know where he's going to end up. He's working from home right now.
Let's see. President Joe said yesterday that the U.S. will send an additional $800 million worth of military and security aid to Kyiv. That aid will include artillery, helicopters, anti-tank, and anti-aircraft weapons. Russia saw a setback Thursday, and we talked about that after the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet
met the Deep Six.
Was damaged by an explosion. Ukraine said it had been hit by a missile strike. Russia claimed that it was just a fire that was on board.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently if that was true, then they scoped it.
Hey, the Associate Vice President is here.
Yep. Hi, Barry.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Finland and Sweden are edging closer to joining NATO, with both countries saying Russia's invasion of Ukraine has utterly changed Europe's security landscape. I bet it has.
Oh, yeah.
The presidents of 4 countries bordering Russia, Poland, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia, visited Kyiv Wednesday in a show of support for Ukraine. Russia appears to be on the verge of capturing the southern port of Mariupol, with Moscow claiming that 1,026 Ukrainian Marines had surrendered. Mariupol has largely been reduced to rubble during 7 weeks of fighting. Its mayor said 21,000 residents have been killed.
21,000.
I've seen pictures of Mariupol.
It's a hurricane.
International investigators are collecting evidence of alleged Russian war crimes outside Kyiv, with forensics experts helping exhume mass graves. A court on the English Channel island of Jersey has frozen some $7 billion in assets it suspects are linked to Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich.
Very good.
Amazon has been called out over worker safety. Amazon employees 1/3 of all warehouse workers in the United States. But those employees accounted for nearly half of all injuries in the industry last year. So Amazon employs 1/3 of all warehouse workers in the United States.
That's just amazing, isn't it?
1/3. And then one
half of that 1/3
of, yeah. Let's see.
Well, you would think
no,
if there's
no. 1/2 of all warehouse workers
that
that were
they get
injured.
Okay, so it's not 1/2 of the 1/3; it's one half completely.
1/2 of all of them, yeah.
Well, you would think that they would have the most since they've got 1/3 of it,
but you'd think that it would be consistent.
It'd be like a third of them, yeah.
The Strategic Organizing Center, a coalition of unions, says that Amazon reported 6.8 serious injuries per 100 warehouse workers in 2021.
That's a bunch.
That is a bunch.
That's pretty
By
high.
comparison, non-Amazon warehouses reported 3.3 serious injuries for every 100 workers. Warehouse employees have repeatedly accused Amazon of prioritizing profits over workplace safety. Amazon workers at a New York City warehouse voted to form the company's first union this month. Amazon says it continues, quote, to make measurable improvements in reducing injuries and keeping employees safe, unquote. So, I mean, the other day, my wife ordered some kind of, she balances a sword on her head when she's dancing. And so she orders this powder that she puts on her head that keeps the sword from slipping off and
Would it work for my hair?
Poking through her foot or something.
Put it on her to keep my hair from falling out?
I don't know about that.
Sliding off.
Yeah. But anyway, it's apparently difficult to find or something, and so she ordered it from Amazon, right? It's a little bitty tube. The tube is somewhere between 3 and 4 inches long, right?
Okay.
And it's round, about the size, of a half
lipstick
dollar,
or something?
$50
okay,
or
bigger
something
than
like that. Yeah, and it's got a little, I don't know. The bag they put it in, you could have put a pair of shoes in the bag.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't.
Oh,
know.
that's the one who's sitting on the table back here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that big bag just
Yeah.
had a little bitty tube of whatever there
Stuff.
was. Powder.
Powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that would work, keep my hair from falling out or sliding off. Maybe that's what it's doing, is sliding off my head. It's just not falling out, it's just sliding off my head.
All right. You keep thinking that.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. What makes Gen Zers lonely?
Who?
What makes Gen Zers lonely?
Who's Gen Zers?
The Gen.
Oh, like Gen X, these are Gen Zers.
Gen
okay.
Z.
Gen Z, and they call them
Ers.
Zers. Okay,
John,
Gen Zers.
John.
Okay.
Gen Z. You got me all
Zers.
messed up now.
I got you. Go ahead.
Gen Zers.
Okay, I got you now.
Okay. Generation Z.
Yeah.
People who are in there. They're called Gen Zers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
not
right.
us.
Gen Z might be the, quote, most accomplished, unquote, generation, but a major wellness study shows it's also the loneliest. Even, I wonder if they went into Maytag repair or something. So.
They might, yeah, that's why they're lonely. That's very good for thinking that one.
Yeah. My grandpa was a Maytag repair.
I was going to say, you probably think of your grandpa.
That's why he taught people how to fly. That was his
Yeah, it was
side
just-
job.
yeah.
So he wasn't so lonely.
So lonely. They weren't flying Maytags, though.
No, they were Cessnas and Pipers.
Okay.
Let's see. They say they were the loneliest even before COVID-19. The pandemic heightened Gen Z's social isolation, but it isn't the root cause. So who's at fault? Well, research cited by Business Insider, which we all know and trust.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Business Insider points to their parents.
Oh, no.
Not Business
That'd be
Insider's parents.
that'd be Gen X's.
I guess. I don't know. Only 38% of Gen Z say they ate meals every day with their family growing up, according to the Survey Center on American Life report. Dinner may be the only time of the day when we can reconnect, leaving behind our individual pursuits, says the Family Dinner Project. And in order to combat research that shows rising social isolation among teens and young adults, a Harvard psychologist and his team suggest building a, quote, robust social infrastructure.
To take care of the Gen Zers.
Yes.
Because they didn't get to eat with their family.
Right. Should remote workers earn less? If you work from home,
yeah,
and you don't have to travel,
no,
should you earn less than somebody maybe that works in the same office as you, does the same thing as you, but they have to come to work every day?
No.
You don't think you should work less or earn less?
No, I think they ought to go to the office.
All right, that was my
part of the question. Yeah.
So, if you want to get paid New York rates, you work in New York. That Morgan Stanley CEO famously said last summer. That line seems to mirror the thinking at Google, Twitter, and Facebook. Twitter's being Elon Musk is trying to
buy them.
Trying to buy them. That's why he didn't want to be on the board of governors or whatever they are, the board of. Anyway, so Google, Twitter, and Facebook have all cut pay for employees who work remotely from less expensive locations, but that's a dated attitude that will cost companies their top employees, according to author Julia Hobsbawm.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. She said that in The Guardian. Mobility and freedom are the new prizes for the professional working class, she writes, adding that 2/3 of U.S. employers think remote and hybrid work are now status quo. Should remote workers be paid less than peers who work from the office? I don't know.
We don't know. It doesn't say.
Well,
it does on the next page.
So they say that work from home is a boon for the neurodiverse.
They keep using all these big words on me, and I'm just not following it at all.
The shift to remote work has benefited many knowledge workers, but especially the neurodiverse, those with conditions including autism, attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder, and dyslexia. Typical office environments where social interactions are continuous and often unpredictable can be overwhelming for people with brains that function differently from the neurotypical. Neurodiverse workers interviewed by the Wall Street Journal say they have thrived since going remote, finding it much easier to interact with colleagues through virtual communication channels such as Slack.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I don't know. The cybersecurity sector is a good fit for neurodiverse candidates, the journal notes, because they might have traits like hyperfocus, precision, and the ability to identify patterns.
What is my issue?
Yeah.
Aged.
We only have 4 minutes left.
haven't got time, do we?
I've not got time to psychoanalyze.
Well, you know, I do have a question, though.
All right,
if Elon Musk is trying to buy Twitter,
yes.
So if he buys Twitter, is there going to be like a Twitter jail like there is Facebook? We have a friend of ours that spends most of his time in Facebook jail.
Yes. You're talking about Ron?
Yeah. I was going to say a fisherman out of Bourbon, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to mention any names. But
like Ron DeClue, you mean?
His initials are Ron DeClue. Yeah. I think he likes being in Facebook.
I think he does too. I didn't know if maybe Elon Musk, if there is such a thing as a, I'm not a Twitter guy.
Jail?
Yeah, but is there such a thing as Twitter? Well,
the president's not our current president, but the 45. He got
45. He got put worse than jail.
Yeah, he
got excommunicated.
Exiled.
He got excommunicated. Yeah, he's done.
To the Isle of Twitter Elba or whatever it is.
Twitter Elba.
All right. So what do you got for birthdays?
We got a few of them today. We don't have a lot, but we got a few.
Yeah.
John Howard. John Howard was in the Philadelphia story of My Three Sons. Okay. Born in 1913. Rod Steiger. There's a name from the past.
Ron Steiger.
Yeah, he was in the Heat of the Night. He was the police chief on the original Heat of the Night.
Yep.
He was on the waterfront, illustrated man, and pawnbroker. Born in 1925. And this gal could do some singing here.
Okay.
Loretta Lynn.
Oh, yeah.
Loretta, coal miner's daughter. She was born in Butcher Holler.
Butcher Holler.
Butcher Holler.
She
Kentucky.
sings about it.
Yep. 90 years old today. Happy birthday, Loretta Lynn.
Yeah.
Julie Christie, and not the singer Julie Christie.
Oh.
She's a British actress. She was in Finding Neverland, Darling, Dr. Zhivago. She's 82. She was born in Assam, India. Pete Rose, which I personally think ought to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's banned from baseball.
He's banned from everything.
Yeah, he's
81 today.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Pete.
I wonder if him and
Charlie Hustle.
Wonder if him and President Trump. I wonder if they can talk to each other out there in.
Oh, they might in Banville.
Yeah, in Banville. Or whatever.
Brad Garrett.
I've always wondered, like telephones. The hold. I think it'd be cool if the telephone companies would just, when they put you on hold, that you could just talk to everybody else that's on hold.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that's
Hey, is anybody out there?
Yeah.
What do you want to hold?
Kind of like
for?
a party line.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Brad Garrett. You know who that is?
Yeah, from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, the big tall brother.
Yeah.
The guy was the cop.
Yeah.
Yep, he's 62 today. Robert Carlyle. Transpotting.
Train spotting?
Yeah, I can't even. It's right here, and I can't say it.
Okay.
And the full Monty, he's 63.
And you wanted me to tell you what was wrong with you
Yeah, but
in
it's
4
just,
minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, yeah, Buffy.
Buffy, yep. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Kindle of All My Children. She's 45 today. Let's see if I had a few on this page over here. Adrian Brody, the pianist, and the French Dispatch is 49. Chris Wood, Vampire Diaries, Supergirl is 34. And Abigail Breslin, My Little Sunshine, Little Miss Sunshine, and Screams Queens is 26. We got a few birthdays there.
Yeah. Mike Davis and Savannah Garner have birthdays today. Savannah's 30 today. She's married to Tyler, of course. And Craig and Miranda Ellis celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary.
Happy birthday and happy anniversary.
Right. We are AM 1560, KTUI Sullivan, 94.1 FM. It's coming up on 9 o'clock. Going to have the for sale show at 5.5 minutes past 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to be talking to someone from East Central College. There's the news.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
New York officials are reporting the arrest of the suspected subway shooter. 62-year-old Frank James was taken into custody without incident after he called Crime Stoppers on himself and took a walk through East Village to await police. A Michigan police officer fatally shot a man after a lengthy fight and was kneeling on his body after pulling him over for expired tags on his car. Video released by police on Wednesday showed 26-year-old Patrick Layoya, an immigrant from the Congo, was resisting arrest when a Grand Rapids police officer shot him on the morning of April 4th. Protesters gathered outside the Grand Rapids Police Department on Wednesday. Billionaire Elon Musk filed paperwork on Thursday to buy all of Twitter for roughly $43 billion. USA Radio News.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free.
Thanks, Pat. Call toll-free 800-630-1490. That's 800-630-1490.
Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Again, 800-630-1490. 800-630-1490 today.
Or at SwissAmerica.com.
Ukraine claims it struck Russia's Black Sea warship Moskva with 2 cruise missiles causing severe damage. Russia confirms the ship has been damaged and crew evacuated, but their story is a weapons malfunction caused the blasts. The Biden administration continues to put more money towards Ukraine's fight from Russian invaders.
President Biden is authorizing another $800 million worth of security assistance for Ukraine. That includes artillery systems, helicopters, ammunition, and armored vehicles. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby saying the money will go toward reinforcing capabilities in Ukraine or providing new capabilities.
All of them are designed to help Ukraine, as we talked about, help Ukraine in the fight that they are in right now, and the fight that they will be in coming days and weeks in the eastern part of the country.
From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
USA Radio News.
You clean everything else in your house, why don't you clean the air? It's easy to do with an Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. They're under $200 for a 3-pack. You can put one in the kitchen, you can put one in the living room, you can put one in that room that you know you always flush. Go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in my promo code CLASSIC3, and you'll save $200. EdenPureDeals.com, discount code CLASSIC3, and you'll also get free shipping.
South Korean Aerospace and Defense Development selected SpaceX to launch a military surveillance satellite. They signed a multi-launch agreement to launch 5 satellites over the next 3 years. The first satellite is scheduled to launch in 2023. The rest will be deployed in 2025. Now that the New York City subway shooter turned himself in by calling Crime Stoppers, Former Navy SEAL, FBI Special Agent, and Federal Air Marshal Jonathan Gilliam on Newsmax discusses suspect Frank James and how he was once on the FBI terrorism watch list until 2019.
Usually when somebody is taken off the list, it's because they've been checked out, and they think it's just an emotional, disturbed person. But the very fact that he was on that list shows you that he did have specific aspects about what he believed and the rants that he had that put him on that list. These politicians have to realize that the people are actually their force multiplier, and they can actually be the eyes and ears for law enforcement if they tell them to be careful, keep a lookout for the guy, this is what he looks like, and show that repeatedly. I saw Eric Adams yesterday more than I saw the pictures of this guy. So that's an issue that we have to start clearing up when it comes to these fast-moving, fluid events.
NASCAR racing is in Bristol, Tennessee this weekend. My name is Lance Pry. Thanks for listening. We are USA Radio News.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny this afternoon, a high temperature of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 44. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high 65. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high 59. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low of 38. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of an afternoon rain shower, high temperature 53. And Sunday night, cloudy, a low of 37. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
All right, thank you, Andrew. And we're up to 44 degrees, I think, here at the studios of KTUI. Oh, that says 45, so we're going up another degree here since I looked a little bit ago. So 45 degrees, that's good. And let's see, it's time for the For Sale Show. If you've got something to buy, sell, or trade, right now is the good time to call me, 468-5101. I'll put you on the air. You can tell us what you've got, how much you want for it, what your phone number is. You can also send me a text message. That's 573-677-1001. You can text me anytime with that, 573-677-1001. If you see news happening or you got something for the bulletin board or whatever, 573-677-1001. You can also send me an email, forsale@ktui.com. You can spell it out or use the number 4 either way, forsale@ktui.com. Real quickly, I think Shelby's got one dog left, one blue heeler. She said it still has its tail. $250, 457-8505, 457-8505. Steve's got some Airedale pups. He had 8 altogether. I don't know how many he's down to now. They're registered. Call Steve at 573-205-3735, 205-3735. And then Farm Fresh Eggs. Now, I know this guy, and I believe he told me they were like $2 a dozen. 468-5389, 468-5389. And his cell phone number is 314-630-9463 for those Farm Fresh Eggs, 314-630-9463. Bill Barth has some Silver Eagle coins that he would be willing to part with. He's got an 86. He'll take $50 for it. The rest of these are all $40 a piece. An 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, a 2001, an 02, 03, and 04. You can call Bill at 314-560-7424. 314-560-7424. And we've got a Lifestyler treadmill. It's $50 and a metal exterior door. It's an 80 by 30, $50. Call 573-259-0098. 573-259-0098. Bighorn saddle, dark leather, excellent condition, about $300. Some laying hens and large brown organic eggs. Call 573-205-9401. 573-205-9401. And then we have some golf clubs. They're Callaways, 468-9598. 468-9598. That is my list of items here this morning. We're coming up on 9 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock here on a Thursday morning. I'm going to let you listen to this from the folks at Jerry's TV Sales and Service. And when I come back, I'm going to be talking with Greg Jones from East Central College. So you stay tuned here to KTUI. Jerry's TV in Sullivan is a family-owned appliance, furniture, mattress, and electronics store. Jerry's has over 20,000 square feet of showroom with name brands of fine quality home furnishings at low prices. Jerry's TV's been serving the Sullivan and surrounding area since 1962. Jerry's has in-store financing, fast, free delivery, free setup, and free removal. When you shop at Jerry's, you get discount store prices with service in every department. Shop local. Shop Jerry's TV, 375 West Springfield and Sullivan, because service matters. All right, now Greg Jones is the Director of Communications and Marketing at East Central College, and he is talking to us via Zoom from home today because it's spring break. Is that right, Greg?
That's right. My son Braden is on spring break today, so I'm staying home with him.
All right.
But I'm still working, just staying home, and he's waving to the computer. So.
Oh, I see. I don't see him, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's going on at East Central?
Oh wow, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We, well, of course, baseball's in full swing.
Mm-hmm. I see you got your hat on there.
Yeah.
Your East Central Falcons. Yeah.
I love this hat. We had this hat. I got it at. We had done an online sale for some merchandise for our bookstore. We've been doing these online sales where so we can ship them anywhere, and people who don't have access to the bookstore on the Union campus, they can order their merchandise. So I got this hat through there. I love it. We're going to be doing another one of those sales before too long, and I'll make sure everybody knows about it. But yeah, we got a baseball game today, 1 o'clock doubleheader. Our team has been doing very well in this within our district area.
Conference.
Conference.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. So it's exciting, to have our first team in 20 years, and it's doing so well within the conference. Other than that, we got Puff's play coming up at the theater. It's in this month. Let me check the dates. It's okay. So it is it's Thursday, April 21st through Saturday the 23rd, and then we also have a show on the 24th, a matinee. But this is we have to be careful how we describe this. But this is it's a play about a very famous house of wizards.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, I think that we had talked about this before. We were I was trying to dance around saying the name, but but basically it is it's a group of other wizards who weren't really a big part of the action in the book and movie series, but it's entertaining, it's comedy, it's a lot of fun, so we're really looking forward to the show. We have a fantastic set. I mean, it's probably just worth it just to see the set and how it got put together. We have a couple of videos on our Facebook page. But, yeah, so that's coming along pretty soon.
So a couple days ago, you sent me a press release about all the people that were inducted into the Phi Theta Cap chapter there. And I was impressed that there was a lot of people. What did it say? 57 members, and there's more that are actually eligible. Is that right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, our we have such an awesome Phi Theta Kappa group, both at our Union campus and in Rolla. Of course, our Rolla chapter is a little bit smaller, but both of them, not only do we have a great membership size, they also win a ton of awards. It's really cool. Like we get whoever's in charge, our president or some maybe our executive group of the PTK, they get state regional awards all the time. So and that happened again this year, and I'll be putting some information out about that. But they're active too. Our PTK just in Union, they had just recently done a drive for supplies for soldiers serving overseas. which went really well. They got a lot of things to donate. So we'll be putting something out about that too. But we also, the same group about a month and a half ago, had put together boxes for people who don't have a home, who are struggling right now. But we've got all kinds of things that'll help keep them warm, some snacks, and just kind of stuff that help them get to where they need to be to help them get by for a little while. So yeah, our PTK is made up of a great group of students, and the advisors really do a great job showing them the way.
So nominations are open for what is the official title of the East Central
Alumni
yeah.
Alumni of the Year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so we are the Alumni of the Year. We are looking for nominations for some in the ECC grad, ECC, somebody who had gone to ECC for a while, who's making a difference really in the community where they live. Somebody who's done some amazing things, and it could be the whole spectrum of what they could have done. But we're just looking for somebody from ECC who's done some cool things, and then they'll be recognized at our graduation ceremony, which will be March 14th, 11:30 a.m. at our Union campus. So yeah, that's what we're preparing for right now. We're getting ready for our 52nd commencement ceremony.
So what about, is it time to sign up for
oh yeah,
summer classes, or can you sign up for fall already? Or
yes, everything. We got signing up for summer. We are signing up for fall, and even some winter session next year. So if you really want to get ahead of the game, you can sign up for summer, fall, winter, and have half your classes lined out before you graduate. But yeah, fall, we're doing really well at this point, registering for fall. So we encourage people to come in and get registered soon. That way, if there's a specific class you want to take at a specific time, the quicker you get in there to do that, the more likely it is that you'll be able to take that class. And same with the summer. We have had such a great response to our summer registration that we really encourage somebody, if you're looking to take a summer class, come in now, give us a call, go to eastcentral.edu admissions and get started. So that way you'll be more likely to get a class when you want to take it.
So what about high school students that want to do the, I forget, dual enrollment classes or dual credit classes? Right. How do they find out about that?
Well, there's a couple of options. They could always go to our website, eastcentral.edu, and look up prospective students or high school students. We've got all of that information on our website. They can also talk to their school counselor. We work really well with all of the schools, all the high schools in the area, to make all that information available to them so they can get it to the students and make the process as easy as possible. Our dual enrollment has really grown over the past few years, and we want to continue to see that. We're seeing a lot more high school students taking classes at their school that are college courses, and then we're also seeing even an increase of those students taking classes at ECC. So we like to see both of those continue to grow, and as they grow, we'll have even more and more classes available.
Are there certificate classes available over the summer?
There are, and you would we'd have to check with our CWD, our Center for, or not our CWD, but our Business and Industry courses, and to see what's available. But yeah, we do have those courses that are offered every semester. They're typically 8-week classes. So to do that, you can again check out our website, and you'll be able to see the course catalog and see what kind of courses are available. Or you can give us a call at 665-846-588, and we can kind of point you in the right direction.
So is the restaurant ever going to reopen? The culinary.
I believe that the plan is that it will reopen, not this year, right now, what they're doing, they're running the restaurant now, but they're inviting like school groups, like high school groups.
Oh.
We had a St. Clair High School group in last week, but they're just to kind of show off the program to future potential students, or really just so our students can get the practice and serve other students, cook for them. So we are hoping that next year we're able to do this again, but to the public. We've had a lot of questions about when that'll happen and when can they make reservations. We're hoping again to do that again next year. But there's still, we still are giving our students, the culinary students, the opportunity to learn the ropes in a restaurant. And that means the front of the house where they're serving tables and they're taking checks or they're taking cards, and they're learning all of that kind of routine, to, of course, the back of the house where they're cooking and making to-go orders and taking orders over the phone. And so we're just trying to teach them every aspect of it that we can of a restaurant.
All right. Well, anything else that we haven't covered?
Oh, there's always a lot. There's always so much going on. One thing that I'll mention real quick, it's a new program that we had started, the Falcon Food Program, where we're offering a free breakfast or lunch to every student Monday through Thursday through our cafe. So there's several options of a breakfast or a lunch meal that they can get. And really what this is we've seen other places do it, and we've kind of taken the idea. There's so much food insecurity really everywhere. And so we're making it so every student at ECC will at least get one meal that's hot and fresh. So that's happening now, happened for a couple more weeks. And that's something that's really been successful, and he is.
And that's above and beyond. You guys have a food pantry too, right?
We do have a food pantry.
I'm trying to dress like Bendy.
Okay, no. Right. Yeah, so we do have the food pantry, but this is something, it's already cooked and it's every day, so it's convenient as well. But they can come in between classes, after class. We run it, I believe, from 9 till 1. So it's a good chunk of day that they can do that. And then, of course, we still have access to the food pantry. Mm-hmm. So we're doing anything we can to make sure our students are set up for success. And unfortunately, there's a lot of times that students are hungry, that they can't afford something. So we want to remove that barrier.
And you think a lot better on a full stomach, don't you?
Yes, you do. You may fall asleep a little if you eat too much, but we try to avoid that overfeeding. But yeah, you do. You think a lot better. You have more energy. I mean, you can do a lot more when you have a consistent diet.
All right, Greg. Well, we appreciate you taking some time to talk with us this morning, and we'll talk to you again next month.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
All right. That is Greg Jones from East Central College, and he is the marketing or communications and marketing director at East Central. It is 22 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock, and that's going to do it for me today. I appreciate you spending some time with me here this morning. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And as always, I would ask that you would please say a prayer for the leadership of our country and the men and women who protect this great nation of ours. Also, please say a prayer for the Ukraine today. As we come into Easter weekend here, and let's see, a lot of places are having Monday, Thursday services. If you've not been to one, or your church maybe not offering one, I would like to tell you that at Grace United Methodist tonight, we are having a service starts at 6:30, and everyone is welcome to attend. And let's see, say a prayer for the folks that work in healthcare, all of our first responders. Find a blood drive somewhere, go to redcrossblood.org, and also sign the back of your driver's license, be an organ donor. All right, Mike Gallagher is up next. We're going to have a recorded version of Live at the White Mule Winery this morning at 10:05, but you can tune in for that as well. Here's Mike.
Dr. Michael Youssef. Today, our chat with Kathy Lee Gifford over her splendid series on Fox Nation, The Jesus I Know. We are entering Easter weekend, Passover. We've got to remember what we do best, and that is celebrate and cherish our Judeo-Christian shared heritage. And what a perfect time to say thank you to all the listeners who have donated now over $78,000 to our International Fellowship of Christians and Jews campaign to rescue Ukrainians from that ravaged country. Yesterday alone, you phoned in over $11,000 of donations. I want to give you some good news. And, of course, the ultimate good news is why we remember the importance of Holy Week. He is risen. After flying into Ukraine with plane loads of emergency supplies, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews opens its planes to hundreds of refugees who then are able to leave the hell behind them and start new lives in Israel. I want you to hear this update from Israeli television.
Thousands have found refuge in Israel, and those eligible for citizenship are now putting down roots.
In Israel, I expect to have more communication, more friends. I hope my dad comes here. I'm really waiting for him.
Kira is already making friends days into starting at the Carmel school, and the Garaninas look ready for a new chapter as a family.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful story. It's a miracle. We're in the final days of my campaign, but there's still time for you to go to MikeOnline.com and click on the Crisis in Ukraine banner to support our efforts to rush emergency relief to Ukraine on planes that will then return to Israel carrying refugees. Your generous gift, $45 or any amount, will help fund these life-saving round trips. And thank you to those of you who have contributed. Maybe you're feeling the spirit today. This is Holy Thursday. We go into Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Passover. Maybe you'll want to make another donation. Let's keep these emergency supplies and round trips going. Go to MikeOnline.com, click on the Crisis and in Ukraine banner, or phone 800-980-5090. And a lot of you are using the phone number now, which is terrific. 800-980-5090. And please make your most generous gift today to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. And again, happy Easter. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your love and your support. Julie is in Peaks Island, Maine. That sounds like that's a place that sounds like a place I want to visit. That sounds beautiful, Julie.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Listen, black power is the issue, not black nationalism. They have no plans for a national party. It is about power, and they're showing it by having leaders of government bow in the street, as in Black Lives Matter, remember? This is an abuse of power by the black movement called Black Power.
All right, thanks, Julie. Joe in Oklahoma City. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Good, thanks. Glad you joined us.
Hey, I just want to I want to chime in on this. This morning I'm watching CBS Morning News with Gayle King.
Mm-hmm.
And, Gayle King, she seems to have a clearly black-driven agenda with the morning news. It's like they have enough to do everything black in their show, and she just miraculously didn't have much to chime in this morning on this black
on the black nationalist. That's interesting. A lot of people in the mainstream media are going to you watch, this story will evaporate in a day or two. There won't be much coverage of it, I'll bet you. It's frustrating. Speaking of frustration, boy, there's a police shooting in Grand Rapids, Michigan that we've got to dive into. It's a tough issue. We're going to try to tackle it together. Coming up. There are some estimates that over 100 million people are struggling with some kind of pain. Over 100 million people. Maybe it's pain from exercise or just getting older. Listen, I thought I had to live with it. I had lower back pain for a couple of years. Figured that was just going to be my lot in life. It wasn't terrible, but it was annoying. until I heard about Relief Factor, started taking it. After about 2.5 weeks, one morning I woke up and realized, wow, my back pain is gone. Here's the deal. If you're struggling with back, neck, shoulder, hip, or knee pain, or general muscle aches and pain, I will urge you to try their 3-week quick start. Let's see if we can get you out of pain. It's discounted to only $19.95, about $1 a day to see if we can get you out of pain. And then after that, less than the cost of a cup of coffee a day to stay out of pain. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384 for Relief Factor.
Mike Gallagher.
This is Sebastian Gorka, and I want to invite you to join me for a powerful travel opportunity that will likely become the highlight of your year. I'm headed to Israel in November 2022 for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour of the key sites and best places meant to give you an unprecedented view of a world you've likely only read or heard about. Together, we'll uncover key geopolitical insights as we unpack Israel's significance on the world stage. You'll return home empowered by the experience. If you've ever dreamt of visiting Israel, this is your opportunity. Come with me in 2022. For more information, call 855-565-5519 or book online at standwithisraeltour.com. 855-565-5519 or stand.
Missouri Net News, I'm Brent Palm. The staff of the fatal Ride the Ducks boat sinking on Table Rock Lake is facing another round of criminal charges.
The state attorney general has refiled charges against a boat captain and 2 other former employees. Charges include involuntary manslaughter and endangering the welfare of a child. A circuit judge dismissed the charges earlier this month, citing lack of evidence, and Washington Senator Josh Hawley's bill to add safety measures might have a foothold.
There need to be common sense safety regulations on these boats.
He filed the bill adding federal regulations to rides like this every year he's been in office. Ashley Bird, Missouri Net.
Republicans in the Missouri Senate are moving forward with a plan to reverse the voter-approved expansion of Medicaid. A Senate committee approved a proposed ballot measure asking voters to overturn their 2020 decision to expand government health care for low-income Missourians. And authorities in western Missouri's Clinton County are investigating the discovery of human remains on a farm near Gower Sunday. A forensic lab is working to identify the bones. This is Missouri Net.
Thinking about improvements to your home or business that require digging or excavation work? Here's some important information that you need to know. I'm Missouri Public Service Commission Chairman Ryan Silvey, and whether you are building a fence or deck, planting a tree, or considering a larger project, you must call 811 at least 3 days before digging. Underground utility lines will be marked, allowing you to carefully dig around the markings. Remember, call 811 before you dig. It's free and it's the law.
Dig safely, it's the law.
Think we can't tell when you're driving high? That you're a better driver? Think again. Weaving, coasting, slow reactions, and more. Driving high will cost you. So help keep the dangerous driving off the road. Make a plan and never drive high. Because if you feel different, you drive different. This message brought to you by the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety, working towards 0 highway fatalities. Show me 0.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center, for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny this afternoon, a high temperature of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 44. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high 65. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 42. On Saturday, mostly sunny, high 59. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low of 38. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of an afternoon rain shower, high temperature 53. And Sunday night, cloudy, a low of 37. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
KTUI time is 9:33, and the current temperature is 44 degrees. I'm Sam Scott for KTUI.
Guests behind the headlines, join Mike to discuss today's vital issues and subscribe to the M&M Experience to hear Mike's daily chat with legendary talk show host Mark Davis. It's all free wherever you get your podcasts, or just go to MikeOnline.com and click the podcast banner to get started. The Mike Gallagher Show podcast. Subscribe today.
The Mike Gallagher Show.
Mr. James is a male, 62 years old. He is known to us. His arrest history in New York is 9 prior arrests. Those include possession of burglary tools, criminal sex act, theft of service. He has 3 arrests in New Jersey. They are for trespass, larceny, and disorderly conduct.
In the ReliefFactor.com studios, here's Mike.
Portions of our show brought to you by Fellowship Home Loans. Call 800-510-MIKE or go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. Welcome home, Fellowship Home Loans. I appreciate the ability to talk about race in America. I think it's such a crucial issue. Lot of diverse opinions about where we are as a country. I'm pro-police. I have a foundation, a charitable foundation called Gallagher's Heroes, the Fallen Officer Fund, where we support police officers, families, and first responders. We publish something called the First Responders Bible, and we send out literally thousands of those every year for free, thanks to your support. It's a King James version of the Bible with a spiritual fitness manual to help police, firefighters, paramedics, all first responders sort of cope with the challenges of their job, because it's one of the toughest jobs in America. What's happening in Grand Rapids, Michigan right now is a real mess, and it centers around the police shooting of a 26-year-old named Patrick LaLoya. Here's a report on what's happening in Grand Rapids, Michigan from WDIV Local 4 in Michigan.
Another African-American man has died as a result of the use of lethal force with the interaction of law enforcement.
9 days after Patrick LaLoya was shot and killed during a traffic stop, Grand Rapids police releasing the video showing the deadly confrontation.
Hey, stay in the car! Stay in the car!
20 minutes of video, some of it too graphic to show. Of protesters gathering outside the Grand Rapids Police Department tonight, calling for the officer who shot and killed 26-year-old Patrick LaLoya to be charged in his death.
The entire case has been turned over to Michigan State Police. Our Mara McDonald is live downtown tonight. Mara, law enforcement veterans say the investigation is going to take a while.
That's right, Kimberly, and here's why. Because there are multiple videos from multiple angles of what happened that morning. There are multiple witnesses, and then you add on top of that the confrontation between these two men before that fatal shot was fired. There's a lot to unpack here. It's just after 8 a.m. on April 4th when this 7-year veteran of the Grand Rapids Police Department, who the GRPD is not identifying, pulls Patrick LaLoya over for having the wrong plate on the vehicle.
Stay in the car!
LaLoya, a Congolese immigrant, exits the car and doesn't follow the officer's orders to stay in the car. LaLoya tries to run. A chase and struggle go on for 2 minutes. There is no backup. Police say LaLoya has his hands on the officer's taser. In the last frames of video, you see the officer on top of LaLoya. He pulls his firearm and shoots LaLoya once in the back of the head, killing him.
It's an absolute tragedy. It's heartbreaking. It's been a difficult time internally for the police department.
I'm here today because our city is now added to the list of cities across the country where another African-American man has died as a result of the use of lethal force with the interaction of law enforcement.
As protesters gather in Grand Rapids tonight, longtime community leaders in Metro Detroit, like Teferi Brent, watch the videos and seize a situation that never had to escalate.
No one should die. A traffic stop should never be a death sentence.
Former Detroit Deputy Chief Steve Dolant sees a tragedy.
Shouldn't have happened, but it did. You got to wonder the state of mind of the victim, who was who died in the state of mind of the officer.
Both the governor and the Legislative Black Caucus are calling for a full investigation.
We need better policies around police reform, but they need justice for the loss of Patrick.
Back here live tonight, this case is in the hands of the Michigan State Police, but interesting to note that Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom said, according to the department's review of the initial situation of what happened here, it appears the officer tried to use his taser twice before that fatal shot with the firearm was used. We're live downtown. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara, thank you. And the Detroit branch of the NAACP releasing a statement tonight reading in part, quote, the Michigan State Police, along with others, must provide justice. Their investigation must be transparent, thorough, and must hold those responsible for this tragic death accountable.
You know, it's going to sound glib to say that the man who fought with that officer, who ran, who was aggressive, who was non-compliant, he can't be held accountable, I suppose, because, of course, he was shot in the back of the head. This is a very ugly story, a real tough story. The video, if you've watched it, as I have, includes the officer yelling to the suspect, "Get your hand off my taser. Let go of the taser." You want me to pull out the file of police officers who were shot and killed while fighting with a suspect, and the suspect incapacitated the police officer using his or her taser and then killed them? That's the fear, of course, that the officer, that's the reality that the officer has to confront in that split second. But of course, you got a white officer and a black suspect who was shot in the back of the head and killed. And I'm not insensitive enough to ignore the fact that essentially the officer put a bullet in the back of the head of an unarmed man who was on the ground. And I get it. I do. I understand the pushback and the inclination to say there must be a better way. I truly do understand that. But I'm sorry, I can't get past fighting a cop. I can't get past anybody, black, white, Hispanic, Asian. If you get into a physical altercation that you are initiating, that police officer in Grand Rapids, if you've watched the video a bunch of times, like I have, and I have studied it, I've watched it many times, the police officer didn't start fighting with this man, the Congolese immigrant, which I say that because maybe that enters into this. Was this guy unfamiliar with what police do here in America? Stop you if you've got a registration that is the wrong plate that shouldn't be on the car? I mean, does he not understand that when a police officer says, get back in the car, you get back in the car? You do what a police officer tells you to do? Now, again, I respect and understand the argument there must be a better way. And we can have that dialogue. But why don't these activists and these Black Lives Matter leaders and these city council members and these mayors and these city managers that you just heard from ever acknowledge the failure of people when they fight and resist and physically attack police officers? It is never going to go well for you if you're going to fight the man with the gun and the badge and the handcuffs, or woman. It is never going to end well for you. What's it going to take to convince people of that? 800-655-MIKE. Let's get your reaction to it here in the ReliefFactor.com studios. 800-655-6453. If you're watching our coverage of this on the Salem News Channel, I apologize for the graphic video, but you ought to see it. You ought to be aware of it. It's difficult to watch, but it'll help you perhaps receive some clarity over what is a very difficult and heartbreaking story. This guy shouldn't be dead. But am I wrong when I say if he hadn't fought with that Grand Rapids police officer, he would be alive today? 800-655-MIKE. I hope you join me.
Get the Mike Gallagher weekly newsletter with featured videos and more at Mike Online.